and I have the absolute pleasure of being your compare for today. I'll be your friendly guide, taking you through the events of the day. Hopefully, things go accordingly. No further delays after from this very moment. So we're going to go with the schedule as planned. And so today isn't just any other day. It's not just another demo, but it's a celebration of vision meeting opportunity. It's where passion gets a microphone, where investors discover possibilities, and where founders get to say, this is what scaling Africa can look like. Over the next few hours, we'll witness founders who have dared to dream beyond limits, and we'll see women who are shaping industries. They're not just solving problems, but also creating value that transforms lives. Um, and so while you get ready to get inspired, I'd like us to start off the morning, now almost afternoon, with a welcome and opening remark by Joba Adejumo, who is the Chief Innovation and Entrepreneurship Officer at Opolo Global Innovation. Please put your hands together for Joba to come give his welcome address. Please clap for him now. Are we going to beg you?
Right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I mean, I've had an opportunity to meet with each and everyone here. You know, I've been all over the place really, so my face is not new to most of you here already. So yes, I'm Joba, and glad to be here this morning. Thank you for being here with us. I welcome each and every one of you, our investors who are here already, some of them, and the partners that we have here in the room, the founders, of course, the SheScales Africa founders, and every ecosystem leader, you know. So I'll start very briefly. When we launched the SheScales Africa Demo Day, when we launched the SheScales Africa program, so the Demo Day is just all in my mind right now. When we launched the program, right, earlier in July, right, our goal was very simple, right? We had one goal in which we captured in two simple words. How can we help female founders who are building tech-enabled businesses to become confident and competent to go into the market to raise venture capital funding? Right, we saw a problem that very less than 2% of VC funding that comes into Africa goes to female founders. I know some of you might ask that, why is a guy bothered about that? I mean, I'm a guy with a wife. I'm a guy with sisters. I'm a guy with a mother, right? So of course, I wouldn't like if any of my people were also caught up in that kind of situation. So of course, it was a call for me and the team, and of course, the entire company to see how can we, plug in the gap? How can we do something about this? We had over 200 applications from across Africa when we launched the program officially. And I must tell you that those 200 applications came in under 2 weeks, right? That's about 14 days. And I think it tells us something, that female founders are looking for, they're looking for knowledge, they're looking for support, they're looking for something, right? Those 200 applications came from across places like Eswatini, as far as Madagascar, right? From Kenya, from so many African countries, Nigeria, of course, being the majority. So over the past 6 weeks, we worked with them directly, each and every one of them that you see in this room and the ones that are also joining us online. We worked with each and every one of them with preparing their pitch readiness, with putting together their financial models, which of course some of our financial modeling analysts supported us with as volunteers, really. And we also got support really in also, crafting their pitches. And the most important thing really for us was to see how can we help them really tell their story in a way that showcases resilience, showcases progress, and showcases that, yes, female founders can, of course, compete very strongly with their male counterparts, right? So for us, this demo day is not just a demo day like our host has just said. It's a milestone for the industry, it's a milestone for Africa, right? It's a milestone for us as Opolo Global. And to each and every one of our mentors, to each and every one of our facilitators, to each and every one of our partners who has made this possible, we thank you. Thank you very much for believing in the vision. We thank you. And for our founders, of course, I must congratulate you for coming this far with us. I know that as you are all actively in the market, and I'm not going to say going into the market because you're already in the market, as you're actively in the market, raising capital, doing your work to see what's possible to, close your round. I know that it will be a great one for you. And for the investors here, the partners here, I hope that, you enjoy the session. And if you have any questions, please feel free to, raise your hand at any point in time. We're going to have a panel session. So it's not just a demo day, it's an investor forum as well. There's going to be a panel session on inclusive investing in Africa. We have experts in the room, people from, Ventures Platform, and Antler and the rest of them. I must also, speak about our partner who made this possible as well, Ventures Platform, the team, Damilola representing the team. So thank you as well for making this happen. It was, working together with you has been good. And we look forward, of course, to making this possible next time. So welcome again to the SheScales Africa Demo Day for 2025. Of course, this is the beginning and next year will be better, right? So let's make today truly unforgettable. Thank you, everyone.
That was Joba Adejumo, the Chief Innovation and Entrepreneurship Officer at Opolo Global. So I hope we're ready to be inspired today. We're ready to be moved. As Joba had mentioned, it's not just a demo day, but an investor forum. So you're going to learn, we're going to engage, we're going to ask questions. We're also going to have a keynote. And so I would like to read the profile of our keynote speaker today. Our keynote speaker today is Abiola Hakimat Ailara, who is the founder and CEO of MyCura. Abiola Hakimat Ailara is a healthcare innovator, digital health advocate, and global speaker dedicated to transforming healthcare delivery through technology and compassionate leadership. She's the founder and CEO of MyCura, My Care Assistant Limited, a pioneering AI-driven home healthcare company providing accessible, affordable, and personalized care. Under her leadership, MyCura has served over 250 clients, trained more than 1,000 caregivers, and built strategic partnerships with hospitals, HMOs, and pharmaceutical companies. Abiola holds a master's in health informatics from Sheffield Hallam University, UK, and serves as membership chair at the Women in Healthcare Network, advancing female leadership in the sector. She also contributes to global digital health literacy through HIMSS Tiger and leads the King's Club, a coaching community for healthcare professionals. Through Opolo Global Mission and her MyCura Care Conversation podcast, she continues to inspire and drive meaningful change in healthcare across Africa and beyond. With a resounding round of applause, please let's welcome Ms. Ailara as she takes her keynote address. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. Like she said, my name is Abiola, and congratulations to the founders. I guess I can start from there. It is a laudable thing for you to get this far. Women are, I don't want to call us the underserved population, but it is what it is. And the more you show up, the more we continue to change the narrative and help the world to see the value that we are, right? So again, I'm here on behalf of Rising Tide Africa. Rising Tide Africa is an angel network founded by women, filled with women, doing great and phenomenal things. I think you guys should learn more about them. So I'll tell you brief. So to start, it is a great honor to stand before you today on behalf of Rising Tide Africa, an angel investment network that has consistently championed women entrepreneurs across this continent. Rising Tide Africa is part of a global movement of women investing in women. We are an exclusively female angel network, pooling resources and expertise to back early-stage businesses. Our focus is on women-led, tech-enabled, and high-proven ventures, because we believe that when women are funded, societies transform. Over the years, Rising Tide Africa has not only invested capital, but also created mentorship, peer learning, and cross-border investor education programs that empower women to lead both as founders and as investors. Now, when the organizers of SheScales Africa requested Rising Tide to deliver the keynote on early stage investing for female founders in Africa, it affirms something we already know. The future of capital in Africa is deeply tied to how we invest in women. I also stand here personally as a nurse, like she has read out my profile. And, my career was born out of my lived experience with the healthcare gaps that I experienced through my family member and even working as a professional in the healthcare space in Nigeria and abroad. And I can tell you that it's a staggering difference. But we're doing something. So my journey into entrepreneurship has also taught me that just as patients need care beyond the hospital walls, female founders need capital beyond the traditional walls of exclusion. In 2024, African startups raised about $3.2 billion in equity and debt. Yet, only 18% of equity deals involved female founders, and just 7% of the equity dollars reached women. Already this year, nearly 3/4 of funding has gone to male-led teams, while women-led and mixed teams share the rest. And yet, Africa has one of the highest female entrepreneurship rates in the world, nearly 24%. Women are building. They are solving and they are innovating. The pipeline is not missing. The problem is conversion, turning entrepreneurial energy into investable and, more importantly, invested ventures. There are already models proven that when women are funded, they scale. The African Development Bank's AFAWA initiative has unlocked more than $2.4 billion, supporting 18,000 women-led SMEs across 44 countries. The 2X Challenge has mobilized over $33 billion in gender-focused investments since 2018. The IS's She Wins Africa is equipping female founders with networks and training. And First Check Africa is boldly writing the earliest checks to women founders at pre-seed. These are not experiments. They are pipelines. They show us what is possible when intentionality meets capital. And this is exactly what Rising Tide Africa also represents. Women coming together as angels, not just to write checks, but to shift narratives, democratize access, and create intergenerational wealth through women-led investing. So what does this mean to our founders? First, think of capital as a ladder and not a cliff. The journey starts with targeted grants and angels who understand your vision. It moves into accelerators and micro VCs, then into seed funds, and later into venture debt. Each rung of that ladder should unlock a milestone: regulatory approval, enterprise pilots, or proof of strong unit economics. Second, the compliance native. In Africa, founders who thrive are those who build with reality in mind. Data privacy, KYCs, regulatory approvals, logistics, and payments. Put your compliance roadmap next to your P&L. In your data room, it builds investor confidence. Third, tell your story with clarity. Culture is not a side note, and this is one thing that we're very big at, even at Nigeria. It is a moat. It is your competitive advantage. At Nigeria, adoption accelerated when families felt seen, when technology spoke their language, respected their traditions, and made care feel familiar. That cultural resonance is often the very reason a product scales, that sense of culture. Now, to the investors in the room, let me be clear. Gender smart investing is not charity, it is strategy, it is alpha. At Rising Tide Africa, we have seen firsthand that women founders often demonstrate stronger capital efficiency, deeper community trust, and higher resilience. So what can investors do differently? Sourcing. Commit that at least half of your deal pipeline includes female founders, please. In your selection, evaluate milestone efficiency, customer retention, CAC payback, regulatory progress, not charisma or pattern matching at all. So in support, don't just write equity checks. Pair them with de-risked credit lines, bank guarantees, and introductions to corporates. These are the levers that truly help female founders scale. So I'm going to leave you with this thing that I call 3 in 30. It's something worth thinking about. For founders, in the next 30 days, apply to one women-focused capital program. You've done one, you can still do more, okay? Send out your warm introductions every week and publish your one big traction updates. Daily putting in the work makes a lot of difference than you compounding things to later. Then for investors, in the next 30 days, adopt a gender smart scorecard at your investment committee. Pilot one guarantee-backed credit line, and host one open office hour for female founders only. If we each move 3 levers in the next 30 days, we won't just be talking about gender equity. We will be funding it. And before you know it, the numbers begin to come up. Imagine 24% of the world as against the other one being just men alone. So in closing, Africa's future is female. It is entrepreneurial. When we unlock capital for women, we don't just close a gender gap, we open a growth engine for the entire continent. So on behalf of Rising Tide Africa, thank you for giving us the honor to set the tone for this investor forum and SheScales Africa Demo Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that amazing keynote. I'm sure we'll all agree that that was a good way to start out today's program. Do we agree? Do we agree? Do we have any questions for Ms. Aylara before she steps away? Okay, no questions. Thank you very much. While the keynote address was going on, we had the chairman of Opolo Global Innovation join us in the person of Dr. Segun Aina. He would now give us a goodwill message before he leaves us again. Thank you very much. Welcome, sir. Please, let's put our hands together for Dr. Segun Aina.
Good day, everyone. I trust we are all having fun, and we're looking forward to a wonderful session. This is a great opportunity for all of us in terms of, I mean, I know it's for female founders, but I can see some male here. I believe they are here to provide support to the female. But talking seriously, from what you're hearing from what the keynote speaker has said, there are a lot of opportunities in the world today, particularly for females and female founders, in terms of creating new stuff, in terms of doing wonderful things and making the world a better place. And this is why Opolo Global Innovation, the team, the jobber and all the member of the team pushing this to ensure that we support the potential that we have to grow that potential, to create, to support innovative minds, female innovative minds, to be able to actualize their desires and come up with solutions that changes the world, and of course, arrange or provide a platform for appropriate funding to let them achieve their aim. So the world is full of possibilities. Nigeria is also full of possibilities, and we believe that we make the best use of this. So I wish you a very nice and fruitful session. Thank you very much.
We'll take a quick group picture. Please, can you come back forward? Miss Ailara, please, sir, and Joba, for a group photograph. Founders, please come forward. Thank you very much. So we're now going into one of the very key elements of why we're here today, the pitches. But before we start the pitching, who can remember the 3 in 30s that Abiola shared with us? Sorry?
Invest in female founders. That's the one I heard.
That was the last point. Who remembers the first? Anybody? So she encouraged that you still go ahead, and you've just finished one program, but you could apply to more. So put yourself out there as much as you can. Are we ready? Good. Well, so today, founders, I think this is one day where you get to confidently say that your valuation is priceless. Don't say I told you so when they ask you questions that you're pitching. But yes, as you come up to pitch, I would recommend that relax. It's your business, is what you do every day. No butterflies in the tummy. Stay calm. You've got this. You've gone through the program. You've been in the program since July. And this is just like this is an icing on the cake of everything that you've gotten. So relax, have fun. I'm trying to see if our multimedia guys are ready for us. So the first company that's going to be pitching their venture to us this morning is TFB Studios. And to take the pitch is the founder, Missy Ogulano. Are you ready? Please, let's put our hands together for her. Do we have a deck ready? So just hold on. When they confirm that your presentation is ready, then you go.
They said I should crack jokes while we're loading up.
My apologies. So we do have judges for the pitch session. So if you're in the room, when I mention your name, please come forward. We have Mercy Ndweze, who is the investment analyst at Weave Capital. Please put your hands together for Mercy as she comes forward. We also have Oluwashola Oshonuga, investment associate at Ventures Platform. And we have Colin Gilbert, Associate Platform and Networks Ventures Platform. Please put your hands together for our amazing judges. Welcome. So now we're going to UMIC. And your time starts now.
That's not fair. Okay, good morning, everyone. Bright and early, it's nearly afternoon. Okay, so my name is Missy, and I'm the founder of TFB Studios. Before I start, I want to ask a question. Who's heard of what I ordered versus what I got? Yeah, hands up. It's basically when you order something online or wherever, and you wait months and months, and you eventually get it, and it's nothing like what you wanted. Imagine that same frustration. That's what independent designers go through every day. Can I get the next slide? Okay, so on the outside, the fashion industry looks so glamorous, right? But it's actually a $1.7 trillion crisis. The supply chain is extremely fragmented, which means it's extremely hard for small and medium-sized enterprises to scale. What are their issues? They have lack of infrastructure, resource mobilization, and access to global demand. But don't worry, I have a solution. Next slide. I'm building TFB Studios, an end-to-end supply chain infrastructure platform run by AI. What does this mean? It means you can go from idea, sketch, or a picture that you've seen on Instagram and LinkedIn to 3D render to final garment in 3 weeks instead of 3 months. Not only that, our AI also uses real-time smart fabric engine, which means that you can type in natural language. I'm 5'8". I'm looking for a dress for a wedding on Saturday that ships to Lagos and costs about $15 per meter. And boom, our AI will match you with a sustainable supplier direct. And not only that, we'll send it right to your door, or if not, to your tailor. What's so exciting about what I'm building is that we're actually connecting rural artisans to global demand. This means that Khadija in Kaduna can be making clothes for Lucy in London. This is exposing revenue opportunities and really creating economic value. You guys are sitting in this room know that the creative economy is the next boom, and I'm here to make it. Next slide, please. This isn't just an idea. This is a validated solution. We have an ARR of $12,000, and we have been supported by UK's Innovate UK with a 50K grant, which allowed us to build our MVP and get clients, active users. Not only that, we're also backed by organizations such as Morgan Stanley and the UK's biggest creative hub, Somerset House. And most importantly, we have users who love us and come back time and time again. Can I get the next slide? All right, let's talk about money. We're all here to talk about money, fintech guys in the room. This is a growing market opportunity, 180 billion. This serves the fashion tech and sourcing market. By year 5, we're looking to have just over 9 million in revenue, and the drivers are clear. You guys are hearing sustainability. Yes, it's important. And sustainability regulations are coming in, meaning that designers and artisans are having to implement these in their processes. But not only that, everybody is using AI now, especially in the creative economy. So let's not make it easier for them. AI adoption is picking up, and we're building the rails before the train comes. How do we make money? It's not that difficult. We have a subscription model where we have tiered subscriptions starting with startup, scale up, and enterprise. And then we also have our transactional revenue, which is going to be things from like bulk manufacturing and commission. And then there's also opportunity for us to get additional revenue, which has been tried and tested via our boot camps, certifications, data, and other go-to-market opportunities. Yes, we have competitors, but nobody is doing it like TFB Studios. Why are we different? Because we're vertically integrated, which means you can start with us and finish with us. We have everything that our competitors have and more. So one of the key features that we're building our IP around is our fabric sourcing tool. And we're actually in discussion with getting that trademarked and IP'd. So that will be our unique selling point, I would say. If you're going to build a bold solution, you need a bold founder, and I am she. So I am also an MBA lecturer at Ravensbourne University, teaching fashion, business, and innovation. But I'm also backed by world leaders. My CFO is ex-Citibank of 20 years. And we have our CTO, who's a VP at JP Morgan in London. We have an amazing team with a bold vision to make this happen. Actually, sorry, it's happening already, but to further develop. So what do we really need to make this happen? Only a small 300K, not a lot of money, right? So we need 300K to make this happen. And we're raising it on a safe note. As she said, our value is untapped right now. So we're raising on a safe note. And the main bulk of the funds will be used to develop our product. We have our back end, our full stack developer, our front end, and our ML engineer in the team ready to do this. Next slide. So thank you for, thank you everybody. Please, my QR is on the code, so feel free to chat me up. And I'd love for you to join this fashion revolution. Thank you.
Well done. Please put your hands together for Missy. So we're taking Q&As now. Do we have questions for?
I'd like you to keep it up. So some of the questions I had was around your competition, right? But what wasn't very clear to me was, you say that you're the supply chain, but are you enabling SMEs to find raw materials to use for production, or are you just helping them find customers? That's one, and then it'll kind of determine like what your competitive landscape is, whether it's like the larger markets, like Lagos market and co. I'm also interested in how you manage the logistics. Yeah, so there's two.
Oh, amazing questions. Thank you. Okay, so to answer the first question about if we're helping them get customers, what actually happens is, let's start with the SMEs that we're supporting. We have designers in our books and they want to get their clothes made for their customers because you can see African fashion is picking up. I can see your Adire pants, these are popular now. So what we do actually is predominantly, people used to go to China, Pakistan to make their clothes. But the issue with SMEs is that they're met with a minimum order quantity, which means they have to make a minimum of 50, 100 units per style. That is, unsustainable. We don't have the funds for that. So what we offer them is zero minimum order quantity by using one-on-one artisans. Somebody in Ikorodu can make 5 pieces and ship to London, and it's still cheaper than getting it from China because you're only making 5. So we actually help them with the production of their garments and the sourcing of their fabrics. We don't actually facilitate sales. That is a future strategy, maybe, but for now, it's just the infrastructure. In regards to logistics, is that logistics as in how the fabric gets to the manufacturer? Or? Okay, so we actually are not really a marketplace for B2B. It's B2C. It's more of a B2B. So the designer will figure out, how they get it to their customers. What we do is we send, if you make 5 pieces, we send it using our shipping partners. We have a variety of shipping partners, DHL or more independent shipping partners. We send it to you just how you would when you're ordering from China. They send you your bulk and then you distribute it to your clients. Great question, but that's our logistics for now.
Just a quick clarification. So the way I understand what you're saying is, let's assume I run a fashion business in London and she runs a fashion business here in Nigeria. So I need to make a design. I have my design. I need someone to make it for me, right? So you guys facilitate sending, like it gets to her, she makes it, and then it comes to me. What exactly is your role in that? It's not very clear to me.
We do everything from design. So you can come to us with an ideation. So you come to us with a picture that you've seen of a guy looking sharp on Instagram. And you say to me, oh, I want to make this kind of piece, but change the color, change the color. I'm not sure if you can go to my render slide. I think it would be helpful to have visuals on this. Just go back, yeah, forward, yeah, here. So if you see the first image here, that's a sketch that somebody gave to us. It can be a sketch, it can be an image. Via the platform, on the same platform, you upload that image, we turn it into a render. That render is accurate to your size and the fabric used. From the render, you can see we've identified issues and we now made changes and it's become the final garment. Everything in terms of sourcing your fabric, designing and creating production is done via the platform. It's a managed marketplace, meaning that we have a variety of production houses. We have partners in Pakistan, China, Portugal, London, and Nigeria. But we're looking to make Nigeria our hub for production. So you can do everything on a single platform. Yeah.
Yeah, I still want to like just be clear on to be clear on what you're doing, right? So how do you what's the partnership with the people that are making the garments like, and do you get, how did you get paid? Was the income driving that?
Okay, so there's two kind of backends. So on our platform, you have a manufacturer backend where the manufacturers can come and log in and book jobs. So they'll be given tasks and they will see what they need to produce. They'll be given the render, which is an image. So nobody can tell you, you know what I said, what I want versus what I ordered. It's not going to happen because you have a lifelike render of what needs to be created. How it works is that we give them the jobs and they deliver. Okay, everybody, all the manufacturers that we have been vetted in person via the quality check, and they're onboarded, so they meet TFB standard. So we have a whole production team, and we call them TFB production gurus, and they're uploaded and they're admin on the back end. Yeah. I'm happy to show anybody our demo. Our demo is actually ready and live, so feel free to.
Just to okay, just to piggyback on her question, how do you ensure that the producers and the contract producers or contract manufacturers use the right material?
Okay, so the material is actually on the database. So they have the source of material. The material is ready, is given to them to make. So it's not like they have to source the material. And with the material, it's on our sustainable bank. So the clients, for you, you'll pick, oh, what fabric do you want? If it's ashoke, if it's adire, if it's leather, we have vetted the supplier, and then you can shop directly via the supplier. So let's think of there's 100 fabric suppliers in Tejo or Shaw, but we vetted who and which will match your needs, and then we link it with the designer. Again, this is tried and tested. We've done bridal, we've done all sorts. So please reach out to me if you want to see my demo. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please let's put our hands together. Please let's put our hands together once again for Miss Lee. So how many of us as kids had a bit of struggle understanding what was being taught in class? But like we just put it off as, this child is an Oluku. You don't know what they're doing. The next startup that's going to be pitching, Talk To, addresses speech therapy and talks about making this accessible for millions of African children. Please let's welcome Sarah as she walks us through Talk To. Please put your hands together for Sarah. Sorry, a bit of housekeeping. Do we have the buzzer ready now? The buzz, the timer. Do we have that ready now? Okay, so when you've gone for 4 minutes, when you have 1 minute left, you're going to hear the first buzz. And then when you get to when you're done with 5 minutes, you get the second buzz. And then you know that you have to. Maybe we might be gracious enough to give you a few more seconds. But yes, that's the thing.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So if I were to go around the room and ask each of us, do you know anybody who has an autistic child or a child who is nonverbal? I'm sure 90% of us will put our hands up. Or in recent time, we've seen cases of 4-year-old kids, 5-year-old kids who are beginning to struggle with speech and language delay. So literally, you find a 4-year-old who only says one word: water, fridge, playground. That's their entire sentence. I have a 15-year-old nephew who's autistic, and he's been non-verbal all his life. Now he's 15. What have we done in recent time? We've had to enroll him in culinary school. He's taking speech therapy and he's thriving. But for the most part, we couldn't get actual help to enable him conquer his early challenges that he faced, which I believe that if we had done that, we would have seen massive changes earlier. Next slide, please. So the problem right now is that speech therapy is quite expensive, and a lot of parents right now in Nigeria cannot afford it, knowing fully well that their children need speech therapy. Also, we have under 200 speech therapists in Nigeria. The number is just insufficient to meet the number of demand that we have. We're in a country of over 200 million people. 200 speech therapists to over 50 million children. That is not going to fly. Next slide, please. And the market is quite massive. This is right here, we're even being conservative by saying 1 in 12. This is actually 1 in every 10 children as a case of speech impairment. And more interestingly, this is not a Nigerian or an African problem. This is a global problem. Next slide, please. Our solution is pretty straightforward. We've built an online platform that helps parents access speech therapy for their children. So basically, as a parent, next slide, please. All you have to do is sign up on the platform, take an initial assessment, which is quite robust. It will help our AI know exactly your child's areas of speech impairment. And then an activity track will be generated for your child, which you can subscribe, and then you can then assist your child to begin to take those therapy sessions. The sessions are also gamified such that the children find it exciting. So you can go anywhere from learning basic sounds to mouth positioning, how to sound words, to forming basic sentences and even understanding instructions from your parents. Next slide, please. So these are some of our flashcards that we've created. We've created all these from scratch, and we have a massive repository of flashcards. Next slide, please. So right now we're charging 25,000 naira in Nigeria monthly. And I know you would say, oh, that seems expensive, but let me explain. So per hour in Nigeria, is certified speech therapists will charge you 35,000 naira for 1 hour. So us putting it at 25,000 naira a month is literally less than 10% what the market is currently charging. And we're putting the power in the hands of the parents to be able to help their children. Next slide, please. So far, we've made over $1,200 in revenue under just 4 months of rolling out our initial pilot. We've also won a grant of $10,000. We have over 200 parents on our platform. And then we have 4 strategic partnerships. Some more interesting ones, which are coming from outside of Nigeria, one in Algeria, and the second one in Saudi Arabia, where they are looking at us developing an Arabic version for the Middle Eastern market. Because, like I said before, this is a global problem and everybody just can't seem to relate to this problem. Next slide, please. So myself, I have my background in business. I love business. But my team, we have 2 experts in our team who are board certified speech therapists. Ibrahim has his PhD and master's in speech and language pathology. Victoria has a bachelor's in early childhood education, and she's also a board certified speech and language therapy. And our CTO, who is ex-Glassdoor. Myself, I'm a Draper University Silicon Valley alum. I studied accounting, and I've been working in the technology space for over 5 years now. Next slide, please. So we're looking to raise a sum of $250,000 for our pre-seed round to enable us to build out our mobile app as well as scale our B2B SaaS platform. So mobile app, because when we rolled out our product, we started out basically to say, okay, you know what, we need to put something out there. Let's also validate the product. So we designed a web app and we put this out, and then we got feedback. So I am very big on feedback. So we want to put it in the hands of parents, get feedback and test it. So we put it in the hands of parents and they said, see, yes, this is nice, but we want to have it on a mobile app. So I'm like, yes, I understand that because I use Khan Academy for my daughter and I know how convenient. I just say, oh, Khan Academy, I should just go. When it's on when it's a web app, they have to go to the web and then there's all the potential, and they might just maneuver to YouTube from there. So they're like, okay, mobile app. So this is why we are like, okay, for this next phase, we want to make it a mobile app and also make it more interactive for the kids. Next slide, please. So yeah, don't take my word. We have people who we have worked with who have used our platform and can tell you that yes, Talk2 works. In just 2 weeks, we had a parent who a child was 8. Oh, okay, our child was 8 and he had never said a word. So after a week of constant engagement and using the platform, he was able to start sounding consonants and like ba, ba in just 2 weeks. And we've had kids say their first word. So when they're engaging, they don't say anything at random times during the day. They can just put out ball, house, and it's always quite exciting for the parents. So we've gotten really good feedback over the past 5 months. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Talk2. We'll then go into Q&A. Do we have any questions for Talk2?
Okay. Thank you. This sounds very exciting. So How do you mentioned you use artificial intelligence to support the work that you do, but like, can you talk about how integral it is to the platform? What exactly is the AI powering, and how does that drive, the improvement of the solution down the line?
Okay. So first of all, we have activities that are designed by board certified speech therapists. So from our flashcards, and then we also have an assessment tool that is designed by the speech therapist. So basically the AI is trained on those resources and tools that we have, as well as resources available, open source resources as well that they can access. So basically, it analyzes every single assessment. So as a parent, when you sign up, you take an assessment, it analyzes that assessment. While the system is able to give you a generic result to say, okay, based on this your assessment, this is what we have seen, the AI takes it further to do more analysis. It can pick out something and tell you that, okay, based on this assessment that we've seen, we can ask you questions like, okay, does a child respond to their name? How do they respond when they're out in public? Do they react to noise? This AI analyzes those details and tell you, okay, it seems like your child has maybe social anxiety, or it might have some other factors that is beyond speech. So it also helps in terms of how to curate the activities. Also, in terms of how they engage the activities, we've also seen cases where some kids like background noise, some kids want it completely silent and just want to focus on the activity. So depending on how the child also engages, the AI analyzes the behavior of the child, and then for the next week, it recommends based on how the child responded to the previous week's activity. So the parents are supposed to take like, at the end of every week, you take a follow-on assessment, right? So where we ask you, okay, how did your child respond? Did they engage and stuff like that? Then it generates a new set of activities. So it basically just helps improve whatever it's, so almost like it serves as a guide and helps improve to then make it almost like dynamic and not static for the child, so it's more valuable to them.
Yeah, great. Sorry, one last question from me. You have 200 plus parents signed up, are all subscribed.
So
So no, just a quick follow-up to that. So how many are subscribed, and what's your daily active user rates, right? So how many of those parents make sure that their child is on the platform every day or every week, depending on what's recommended?
So in terms of subscription, what we did initially was we opened the system up to people to just, because we're testing, right? So the first time we opened it up, we had over 100 children, 100 parents who signed up. Right now we have about 160 something children active on the platform. Although right now we're not actively, because we didn't build the system to the point where we're actively monitoring how long they're engaging because it's an MVP, right? But we know that we have over 100 plus kids on the platform, and then we have, I would say, over 20 something of them who are subscribing. So, but in terms of subscription, it's not something that we're not too, like, we're not saying, okay, we are testing and we want to make sure what we're testing is working. So it's more kind of like research. We want to also test that people are willing to pay. Yes, people are also willing to pay as much as 200 plus thousand. Some are saying they want to pay as much as 300K for you to do one-on-one with their kids, right? So people are willing to pay for the platform. That we've ascertained. But at this phase, we're not pushing for that. We're just more like, okay, come use it and give us your feedback on how your child deal with it. So in terms of the numbers, we are not too, yeah, you're a visitor, so I'm sure you'd ask for that, but we're not too, that's not really our focus as such. So yeah.
Thanks, Sarah. Really appreciated the clarity of your pitch. I'm kind of interested in your market sizing, your go-to-market strategy. Do you have a sense of like how many children are dealing with speech therapy or speech issues in the country? That's one. And do you know if like there's like a collection or something that you can tap into so that you're able to acquire these parents or acquire these children at once instead of having to get to them in bits and pieces, but also because you have customers in different parts of the world, right? So you mentioned is it Algeria and UAE. Are you accommodating different languages?
Okay. First of all, for the strategy, I don't know if I want to talk about my strategy in front of other people, but yeah, but anyways, so interestingly, what we came up with was, because I think about things from a distribution standpoint. This is what I did this in fintech for like 3 years, so that's how I look at products. So what we did was we realized that yes, there's the parent side, which is the B2C side. That is what the app that we're talking about building is meant to focus on. But then again, there's another aspect, which is a SaaS tool, which is focused on specialists themselves. So we're currently building as a SaaS tool because that can easily work on a web app. So the idea is we now have institutions. For example, there's a special needs center who has been on us to, what's up? When is your platform getting ready? We want to onboard, the facilitators to use it, because what we're trying to do is present them a platform where these schools, daycare centers, early year schools, special needs centers can onboard. There's also a behavioral ABS, applied behavioral center in phase 1, who is very particular about us bringing the platform to them. So they sign up, right, onboard their facilitators on the platform. Then they onboard children. The children, then these facilitators can then engage kids. So we're then using it almost like a SaaS tool, right, for institutions. Also, what that then does for us is it opens us to a completely different channel, which is now like a B2B2C model. So if your child is in a special school, a daycare, they are engaging the platform at school. When they go home, weekends, we also want them to continue their therapy. So what we're saying is, as a parent, we want you to also onboard on the parent side. And then whatever it is your child is doing at school, you're able to follow up at home. So the B2B SaaS tool focuses on institutions as well as speech therapists. And then there's the B2C that focuses on parents. Also,
And will you charge separately for the B2B and the B2C?
Sorry?
Would you charge separately?
Yes, we will. And then, so another interesting thing that we did, because I've been talking to a lot of, I think the last 5 months I've just been talking, and I've spoken to a lot of people, and we've also spoken to a lot of speech therapists in Nigeria, and they all seem to have the same problem: parental involvement. So they can only see your child 2 times a week, max 3. Now they tell you when you get home, do XYZ. A lot of parents don't do it. So now what the B2C does for us is we want to build it such that the parents can engage themselves, the kids can engage themselves without support of their parents, because parents are busy. So we've also seen that because these specialists are not able to cater to the number of people that come, we've had people telling somebody that, they brought this child to me. I can't take this child because my schedule is full. With a platform like Talk To, they channel them there and tell them, okay, you know what, I can't take you, but you can use this platform, and then I can do weekly check-ins with you or once in 2 weeks. So we have distribution channels with the specialists, with institutions, as well as educational platform, and then the general B2C marketing. So we've tried all. A lot of them, all of them seem to be working interestingly, but in trickles. So we've experimented across all the different pockets, and we know that yes, this is what's working, because I want to make sure that we're doing what is working and we're not just vibing. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sarah. So we do have participants online. We have investors who have also joined in virtually. If you have questions for Sarah, I think her details are still on the screen. Can we just flash you for 1 more minute? If you need to ask further questions, she's in the room. If you have any questions for her, you can still go on to ask her. The next startup that would be pitching this afternoon is Acad AI. They're in the edtech space, and they're working on grading systems. Please, let's welcome Anjola Oluwa Ajayi.
Next slide, please. Meet Bola, a final year university student who had waited 3 months for her exam results, only to find out she won't be graduating with her mates because 2 of her exam scripts were missing. With no way to prove she actually wrote the exam, Bola ended up with carryovers. She couldn't handle the setback and decided to take her life. This is the reality of thousands of students across Nigeria and Africa. My name is Anjola Oluwa Ajayi. I'm the founder of Acad AI. During my days in university, I was a course representative of a large department with over 250 students, and I lived with many ballers. 30% of the class could relate to stories like ballers. And the reason was simple. Lecturers were usually assigned to hundreds of students left to mark mountains of scripts. The process was time-consuming, stressful, and overwhelming. And when people are pushed that hard, mistakes are bound to happen, crisis, bias slips in, and records go missing. At the end of the day, students like Bola end up paying the price. Next slide, please. Academia was built to end stories like Bola's in Africa. It is an AI assessment platform that is capable of grading theory assessments, just the way a human teacher would, only 99% faster. That means results are ready in minutes, not months, and results are free of bias and errors. And it works in 4 simple steps. Next slide, please. So the teacher creates the exam, the students take the exam on the platform, the AI grades it based on the teacher's marking guide, returns personal feedback to every student, or well, that would be after the teacher has cross-checked, approved, and published the results. And the teacher can also export the results out of the system. So since our launch, next slide, please. Since our launch in June 2025, on the B2B side of our business, we've been able to get into partnership with BrainBlocks, an organization that is affiliated with several secondary schools in Western Nigeria. And our partnership is simple. They are to onboard 12 schools in the next 1 year. And right now, there are 5 schools who have indicated interest in using our platform. On the B2C side, we've had a 200% month-on-month growth rate, and right now we are sitting on 1,300 users, with 130 verified teachers across 60 schools, both in Nigeria, Africa, and outside Africa. Next slide, please. We're also backed by organizations like Google for Startups, Babcock University. We're featured on top education publications in Africa, like EduGist, which gets over 2 million monthly readers, and EduTimes Africa. And we're also awarded by Computer Professional Network of Nigeria as Africa's first AI grading engine. Next slide, please. So our target markets, educators and educational institutions, but the biggest opportunity we have here is examination bodies like WAEC and NECO. And this is because the federal government has mandated these bodies to conduct their examinations the CBT way, starting from next year. Next slide, please. So our market size, so this proves our market size. The global EdTech budget is about 200 billion, and the global CBT budget comes down to 7.7 billion. If we're able to get 15% of that market share, that is 15% of all the exams conducted on Academia, we'll be looking at 1.1 billion in revenue. Next slide, please. And the way we make money is simple. For the B2B side of things, we make money with an annual license fee charged on a per student basis. And for the B2C, the educators pay based on how many students they have or how much they need to use our system. Next slide, please. What sets Academia apart from other CBT systems? One thing that really stands out is the fact that we do not just grade only multiple choice questions, we also grade theory questions, and our system is standard. That means it comes with examination malpractice, anti-examination malpractice features, and the likes. Next slide, please. So our go-to-marketing strategy. One thing that has really worked for us is cold outreach to institutions, and then also our partnership with organizations like BrainBlocks. Then also the media and events. Recently, we had an event that got over 100 RSVPs from professors and lecturers across different Nigerian universities. 50 of them attended, and over 20 of them signed up during the event. Next slide, please. So we're asking for $250,000 to position Academia as a trusted CBT system for institutions and examination bodies like WAEC and NECO. The adoption would onboard 1 million students, which will help us get to our $10 million in annual recurring revenue on a per student license fee. Next slide, please. So this is our team. Myself, I'm an ex-data and AI consultant at EY, one of the big 4 consulting firms in Nigeria. And then my co-founders, Insikak, an ex-full stack engineer at Start Innovation, Treasurer Ezekiel, an ex-marketing manager at Smart Retro AI, and Philip Edwards, ex-product manager at HMG, who has worked on different governmental projects for organizations like FIRS. So next slide, please. So yeah, partner with us, where we can use AI in education to end the story of Bolas in Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was Akhad AI. Do we have questions for her? So here's what we're going to do. We'll take 2 questions from here and give those joining us virtually the opportunity to also ask their questions.
Okay, great. Thank you for the presentation. I feel like what you're building is something really interesting and impressive. I want to understand how you have built that technology back end, right? Is it built or you have leveraged open sources?
Okay, so the project or the solution is right. Okay. Thank you for your question, by the way. So yeah, our solution is actually a product of research from Babcock University. It was built hand in hand with senior lecturers at Babcock University. We leverage some, I won't call them open source, but they are open source. We leverage some large language models to make that possible so that, the AI will be able to understand the semantics of answers. But beyond that, we also have our proprietary algorithm that makes sure that we're able to model the way the teacher thinks, basically, and then to also avoid hallucinations and things like that. It's something that is used in the Western world, but they're not so much here. It's called the rubric system. So if you look at a typical Nigerian university lecturer's marking guide, it's just question, answer, and the mark attached. But overseas, they have like what defines the correct answer, the criteria, and then if you're able to like meet that criteria, how well are you able to meet that criteria? So that's like the rubric system. We're able to model that in our system. That's our, yeah, that's a basic thing.
Thank you, Angela. I'd like to understand how you're thinking about or probably even solving the infrastructure gap. So it sounds to me like your platform would be like a web platform. You access it on your laptop the way like people do Jam today or Post UTME, right? WAEC and NECO, when I wrote it, there was MCQs and there was theory. So students actually have to do all of that. With WAEC and NECO, there are so many different subjects, so many different days. With JAM, it's just one day, just one one subject. So I'm just trying to understand like how you'd match all of that demand with the current level of infrastructure we have today.
Thank you for your question. So for starters, when it comes to the infrastructure, we are actually backed by Google and Amazon because we got into their startups program, and they gave us like free credits to use their. Is that what you're asking about?
No. I'm talking about physical infrastructure, the computers. Yeah. So in the different schools, how what is available for WAEC and NECO since you're planning towards.
Okay, thank you so much. So I mentioned it was posted in, can you go back to the why now slide? Sorry. Yeah. So it was posted on Punch News. The federal government has directed WAEC and NECO to adopt CBT starting from 2026. So this is an opportunity we are looking to take advantage of. We want to position ourselves as the go-to CBT platform for WAEC and NECO. But for other schools, because we're not just targeting examination bodies, for schools that do not have the infrastructure, we also want to expand our product so that we'll be able to grade paper-based exams. There are solutions like that out there already that are capable of grading paper exams, but then they're just not in Nigeria yet. And I want to be the first to do that basically. And that's why we're raising funds to speed up our development and get to where we want to be.
Thank you.
Have a question. Okay, do we have any questions from our online participants, the investors online? Do we have any questions? No question.
All right. Hi. Interesting. Okay, so you mentioned that you're targeting acquiring like WAEC and NECO as customers, right? So if I understand, right now students would have to use the platform, use Acad AI to write the exams, right? So you're hoping that WAEC would use your platform as the core platform for the exams, right?
Yes.
Okay. So why do you think you can sell to them, right? Like how do you think to approach, how are you planning to approach that? Because like these are, I don't know if they're government parastatals, or they're not government necessarily, but like they run like government. So it can take a long time. It can be really slow. So what's your approach?
So this can we go back to my go-to-market strategy? That was like, okay, yeah. So right now we are trying to gain traction. We are already gaining traction. We're trying to build credibility, and we're also like iterating on feedback that we're receiving from our early users. And yes, I showed you my team, but I did not put our advisors in the deck. But we have like a whole board of advisors. As I mentioned, it came out of the product is from research in Babcock University. So we have the backing of senior lecturers, people that are part of NUC, even the vice chancellor on this. So we are currently just improving the products, gaining credibility. And when we are, where we want to be, we'll be able to approach with all our advisors and all our backings and all our proof. Yeah.
Quick one, the B2C angle, can you explain it? Who is paying for that? Why are they paying for it?
Okay, so the teachers are paying for the B2C angle. And even beyond the grading theory, we also provide other features to help them save time. For example, they can generate questions like a full exam based on their lesson notes. So they don't have to sit down for hours to. So that's another thing we charge for on our platform. So the teachers pay for the B2C.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Please come put our hands together for Acquired AI. Coming up next, we have Gratitude. Please let's welcome Kavia Chris Amuson as she walks us through Gratitude.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. All right, I'm going to wait for the slide to come up. I hope my time hasn't started yet. Okay. Has anyone here ever had a symptom that was so embarrassing you couldn't tell your best friend, or you procrastinated so long before going to the hospital? Well, I can relate and I'll tell you about it. I'm Kiva Krisamuso, co-founder and CEO of Gratitude, and we're a digital platform. Next slide. We're a digital platform that makes it easy for women to access reproductive care from their mobile phones, starting from their first period down to menopause, so across their reproductive life stage. Next slide. Now, WHO tells us that every 2 minutes, a woman dies because she can't access reproductive health care. Now, from Aisha, the university student who lost her life at the hands of a quack doctor due to an unsafe abortion from a pregnancy that could have been prevented, to Mrs. Ali, a loved trader, very successful, who lost her life from pregnancy complications when there were warning signs that she missed all along. Next slide. And when we started to take a closer look, you realize that when a woman notices a symptom before she ends up getting care, there is a delay for many reasons, but very commonly the stigma. I can relate. As a university student, many years ago, I started having irregular periods. Now, very recently, got diagnosed with PCOS. And there are many other women who live with this, very life-threatening condition in some cases, who could have gotten care, but just that stigma, the inconvenience causes them to delay. Now, sometimes when you end up finding your way to the hospital, doctors are overworked, and they tend to be dismissive of women's symptoms. But on another hand, half the time as doctors, we don't even know what's wrong with the woman because there's very little research and data points around women's health issues. And so I started to think about it. Why do I have tech to order a cab or order food from my phone, but nothing for this very basic need? And this is why we started Gratitude. Next slide. So in a nutshell, we are making it easy for women to access reproductive care from their phones. And we do this leveraging AI so the woman can get real-time support even in the middle of the night, and then funneling her to human support when required. Here's how it works. Next slide, please. So depending on the woman's life stage, she will chat with our AI bots called Kiki AI, and also track her symptoms, her period, and all of these data points. Kiki will always send her prompts on what to do. So Mrs. Ali could have gotten reminders for antenatal care, or Aisha, the university student, may have known, when her fertile window was, and she probably would have been more careful not getting pregnant in the first place. We also, what Kiki AI does is it also funnels women to the next line of care. That could be content, it could be from our marketplace of health experts. And the woman then has all these data points that she can share with her healthcare provider, which helps them make better diagnosis. Next slide. Gratitude is currently free to use, but we make money every time a woman upgrades. So we run a freemium model. And a woman will use Gratitude for at least 10 years of her life cycle. So we acquire a paying user for $5 and we make like 100x on that throughout her lifetime of using Gratitude. Next slide. We also make money from referring the woman to the marketplace or referring her to lending partners that we have to help her fund her healthcare procedures. We're building Gratitude for the global market, more specifically emerging markets, but we're starting with Africa. And in Africa alone, this is a $12 billion opportunity because Literally every woman will need Fertitude as long as she has a smartphone. Next slide. Unlike global platforms in this market like Flow, that only track, they only help you with tracking, we go the extra mile to connect the woman to actual care. And unlike generic telehealth apps that we see rising up every day, we tend to the ongoing cyclical needs of women health issues. Next slide. Currently, we have close to 6,000 as of today right now. Our app is live on the stores. Our MVP is live on the stores, so you can download Fertitude today. And we're growing our numbers, over 30% month on month. Since we started generating revenue a few months ago, I think we've made over $1,000. So we're seeing that early traction, and it's growing really fast. Next slide. We will continue to make revenue through our B2C model, but we are also currently in talks with hospitals. We're in talk with employers to help us gain, market penetration a lot easier. And long-term, our play is partnering with research bodies and big pharma, because the data points we're collecting, we can ethically partner with them to further research around women's health. Next slide. I'm doing this with my friend, Ken. He is a software engineer, brilliant software engineers, helped build 2 leading health tech platforms in Africa backed by YC and Google. I myself, this is my second startup venture, and I led growth at SheScales Africa, a very popular women's community of over 1 million women. If there is any team that can do this, it's us. Next slide. So we'll be raising our pre-seed round next year, but before then, we are doing a bridge angel round of 50K. It's a small round where we're bringing family and friends and angels to help us, strengthen our metrics before our fundraise. And so we have a 15K commit of the 50K we need to raise. And so if you know anyone who might be interested in supporting us, please reach out, make an intro, reach out to the Opolo team, and let's help more women. Let's save lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fertitude. So we're going to put up on the screen barcodes. We've listened to 4 ventures pitch so far. If you're interested in any of them, please indicate when you access the barcode. We'll then go in to Q&A, 2 questions only. So decide who's asking. You guys have microphone.
Hi, Kira, well done with what you're building. I just really want to understand how the partnership with the doctors and the hospitals are working, and what the commission that you get on that is like.
Okay. So at the moment, even without hospitals, we have a marketplace where any health specialist, not just doctors now, a nutritionist, a therapist, can partner with us to list their services on there. But what we're doing now is we're reaching out to hospitals, because lots of these hospitals don't really have a strong telehealth platform, so they can list their experts on our platform, and that creates like an incentive for them. But they are also then recommending Fertitude to be used by their patients, which helps them improve the care that they're able to provide in between doctor visits.
Then you intend to earn commission on that. Was like what percent?
Yes, so we
Okay.
earn a 25% commission. On average, a consult will cost between 30 to 50K. So on average, we make a 10,000 naira commission, from a referral.
And then do you get to vet? How do you vet the marketplace? How is the marketplace regulated? Do you get to vet any of the?
With their licenses. So as long as
with their
your license is
licenses.
up to date. So we have a place where you fill in your details, and we approve that before it goes. I mean, over time, we would automate that process, but we manually approve before it gets listed.
Okay, thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
As you were speaking, I was shaking my head because I have a background in physiology, and I really understand, or maybe not really, but I have an idea of how bad, research is. Like, we don't have adequate research for female health globally. It's not even just an African problem. So, I wonder, how then is Fertitude able to build a solution that is, because you mentioned that one of the problems is sometimes doctors don't even know what is wrong, right? How does Fertitude seem to address that problem? Is there anything you're doing to address that problem? And if yes, how are you trying to do that?
Okay, thank you. I may have forgotten to mention that I'm a medical doctor, even though my background is more in entrepreneurship. How we're addressing it right now, because of course we have to focus on building the business, is just the data we're collecting. And of course, like consent. So we're NDPC compliant, and we are kind of letting people know, oh, this is how we would use your data. The data we collect is de-anonymized, anonymized, excuse me. So it's not like we're selling people's data or anything like that, but just being able to make patterns of like, okay, what are the things that a woman with fibroids will present with? So right now it's just data we're collecting, and at the right time, there are bodies that would actually approach us, because we're already seeing some of these conversations happen, just for them to have these data points properly to create medication or just other things like research related. So right now it's just the data collection. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together once again for Fetch 2. So we have some of the startups that are joining us virtually. We're going to take the first startup that is joining us from the other side. Greenback, Ijoma Akuyu. We're going to play the video. Just to save time, we've asked them to record their pitch. However, you get the opportunity to ask them questions because they're also online. Can we have Greenbacks?
Over $1.3 trillion. This is not just a finance. Did you know that in the last 2 years, over 7 million MSMEs shut down in Nigeria? Not because they weren't good businesses, but because they couldn't access affordable capital. Across Africa, over 95% of MSMEs remain excluded from formal credits and will not achieve being sustainable by the year 2030 like their foreign counterparts, because there's a current annual sustainable financing gap of over $1.3 trillion. This is not just a financing problem. It is a data and trust problem. Financiers say that they are actively looking for these sort of businesses and their sustainable projects to fund, but they cannot because they lack that granular level of data visibility from these companies. Conversely, the ability to source for such affordable capital and comply with the requirements by these businesses remain complex, fragmented, and expensive because they are still dealing with the same old traditional financial institutions and their infrastructure that are manual, paper-based, and subjected to human errors from the account managers. The result, a locked system. On one hand, you have trillions of sustainable capital sitting idle. On the other hand, you have millions of underserved MSMEs. This is what Greenback is here to fix. Hi, my name is Ijoma Akuyu, and I'm the founder CEO of Greenback. We have built an AI power platform to automate the tedious workflows that easily unlock sustainable capital for SMEs, while giving the financiers the verified and real-time data to underwrite their loans. We have done 3 things extremely well. For SMEs, we now have a 24-hour AI agent to pre-assess their credit worthiness and compliance levels, while continuously sourcing and matching them to the right financial products. For financiers, we now have a centralized place with verifiable data from intelligent credit and impact risk profiling done by us. And for both sides, a marketplace that actively matches them at competitive interest rates, eliminating paperwork and friction. We are the clear bridge between financiers and sustainable businesses, significantly reducing the expensive time and overhead costs currently spent. And we've already built strong momentum. We have a waitlist of over 1,000 businesses through our ecosystem partners. We have secured £100,000 worth of letters of intent from customers awaiting our public launch. And we've secured a £1 million credit line from lenders for Greenback originated loans. And we've currently processed over £4 million worth of sustainable loan requests through our risk models from businesses. And we have a patent pending for our credit and impact underwriting models. Our efforts so far have already earned us international recognition as one of the best 100 startups in the United Kingdom. and we want to replicate that great feat in Africa. Our progress shows that SMEs are now ready, financiers are excited, and the market is hungry for our innovation. This is an outsized opportunity. However, in Nigeria alone, our calculated addressable market is a £25.5 billion one. With us just targeting 750 MSMEs in the manufacturing, transport, energy, and construction industries, just 10% of that gives us a 2.5 billion serviceable, obtainable market within the next 5 years. With SMEs paying as little as £1,000 annually and financiers paying £15,000 for use of our infrastructure and other upselling opportunities, our SaaS and transaction fee model creates predictable recurring revenue. Our edge lies in our problem-solving approach, technology, and timing. Unlike our competitors, Greenback is user-centric, AI-first, with an embedded verification layer for instant results, and not using up to 3 to 12 months time frame just to deliver a service. And we are a team built for this. I'm a lawyer turned software developer who has done this before with my previous venture-backed startup, who had a 10 million loan portfolio value with a 96 payment repayment rate from a system I designed within the 1.5 years that it was operational. My co-founder and CTO, Sandra, and other founding engineers have deep technical expertise and have worked in notable tier 1 financial institutions like Capital One, JP Morgan, and Chase. And we are also supported by globally recognized impact and financial advisors. Together, we have the domain, regulatory, and technical expertise to build and scale Greenback rapidly. We are raising a £750,000 pre-seed round with a safe, with self-commitments already in our pipeline. This will fund our next 24 months of growth, including product development, regulatory licensing, scale operations in Nigeria. Join us as we build the next generation of financial infrastructure to power the sustainable growth of African businesses. Thank you very much.
Ijeoma, can you confirm that you can hear us?
Yes, I can. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. So, judges, do we have any questions for Ijeoma?
Okay, can you hear me? Hi, Ijeoma.
Loud and clear. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. All right. Thanks for, okay, I wouldn't say for your presentation. Well, yeah, for your presentation. It will be good to understand, currently, how do you acquire might not be the word, but how do you get businesses to come on the platform, or how do you source those businesses, and how do you understand their financial position in such that they can then attract the loans that they need on your platform? Yeah.
Thank you very much for that question. So in 2 ways, there's either the B2B strategy or the B2B2B strategy. So B2B basically is going directly to SMEs that, again, work in or operate in these industries that currently have the pressure to decarbonize or transition to a more sustainable economy. So like I mentioned, the manufacturing, construction, retail, transportation, they're the ones that are actively seeking for such kind of capital that kills 2 birds with 1 stone, right? That makes them, sustainable at the same time, provides the financing for whatever activities they have to do. On the other hand, we have strategic partnerships with ecosystem partners. So the goal is either go to financial institutions or, fintechs that already have a database of customers, right? And use them to say, okay, listen, we have something that can help you access sustainable financing. So we source through that. Or large organizations that we know that they have a network of SMEs within them. And the average large organization has nothing less than 100 SMEs within them. So the goal is sit in between them. Upstream, you provide the data visibility for the large organizations to report, and downstream provide the loans and also the data services to them. So that's the strategy in acquiring customers.
Hi, Gemma. Thank you. 2 questions. One, how do you verify the ESG metric that you collect, that non-financial performance? And then the second one is, what do the SMEs get as value in exchange for the subscriptions they pay? I understand the financiers, but I also want to understand the SMEs. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much for the question. So how do we verify the ESG metrics? So our models have been trained on the frameworks, right? So there's already a database on what quantifiable metrics look like for any industry. So there's that database to keep matching. So that's the first layer of verification. Now, secondly, in terms of like evidence of what they're uploading, we have what I say in-house. If you notice on our board of advisory, we work with ESG consultants that also serve as that verification layer to ensure that whatever data that is uploaded is, you know, the right kind of data, or it's, you know, again, is verifiable. So we're doing that grunt work and more or less accelerating any other person's work that we need to like verify. We've already done that already. So you coming on, be sure that everything is green backed. We've gone through that motion of making sure that things are evidence based. For the SMEs, the value that they get, number one, faster access to credit. Like I said, the pain point for them is liquidity. They don't really have access to capital. If they have to access capital, it's a matter of like going to your account managers that want to relationship with the different commercial banks, and just, you know, doing all that sourcing all by yourself. Now with Greenback, you have a centralized place that not only does like your due diligence and verification, but also like, you know, opens you up to the world of different financial products that, you know, would be beneficial to you. Secondly, in terms of value, another thing I'm sure everyone in this room can, would I say, relate with, especially when you're sourcing for capital, is the time that is consumed in, like, you know, the back and forth phone calls, emails, paperwork, you know, with your account managers. And this is your account manager if, you know, they like you, right? Or if they, you know, they prioritize your business, right? And they're also juggling personal banking, right? We've eliminated that whole, you know, would I say, process, condensed it into one place, because Greenback is built by professionals, by lawyers, financial, like, financial experts. We know what the financial systems are looking for. So that is the value add for the average SME: access to capital, and also the due diligence that's, you know, the typical bank or financial services will put you through.
Got it. Thank you.
Would that be all? Do we have any questions online? We're good. The next, thank you very much for your time, Ijoma.
Thank you.
The next startup that will be pitching virtually is called Vitali Health, and the founder, Marita. Do we have a video up? So same routine. After the video, then we go into Q&A.
Good afternoon. I'm Marisa Blended, CEO and founder of Vitali Health. I'd like to begin with a story. Good afternoon. I'm Marisa Lidonde, CEO and co-founder of Vitali Health. I'd like to begin with a story. A few years ago, a close family member was diagnosed with hypertension. The doctor prescribed medication and sent her on her way. Like many Kenyans, she spent thousands every month managing her blood pressure, but struggled to change the habits that caused it. Watching her frustration made me realize our systems don't empower people to get healthier. It locks them into lifelong dependency. That is why we built Vitali Health. We're not just another health app. We're creating a sustainable alternative to chronic care that gives people the tools they actually need to change their health, as well as transform healthcare economics in Africa. We all have a 90% chance of developing hypertension. And when we do, the system offers just one path: lifelong medication dependency. For the average Kenyan, that means spending around 7,000 Kenya shillings every month on drugs, doctor visits, and routine care. This does not include the huge costs of hospitalization when complications occur. The health system treats the symptom, but not the cause. And when doctors recommend lifestyle change, patients are left without guidance, bouncing between fragmented, costly services scattered across the internet. Vitali Health is a digital wellness platform that helps people manage high blood pressure through lifestyle-fast interventions. We combine AI-powered personalization with expert guidance to deliver nutrition, fitness, and stress management support through WhatsApp, making it simple, affordable, and accessible. Our users learn sustainable habits that reduce dependence on drugs, avoid unnecessary hospitalization, and improve long-term outcomes. Our goal is that after 6 months with Vitali, users avoid multiple doctor's visits and medication adjustments, saving thousands of shillings while actually improving their health. With Vitali Health, people with hypertension will lower their monthly healthcare costs, reduce reliance on lifelong medication, prevent costly hospitalization before they happen, build healthier, more sustainable lifestyles, not just for themselves, but for their families as well. We launched in August and have built an early community of 370 users. We've partnered with AR Healthcare, integrating lifestyle intervention into clinical care, and with a 1% Better Club, providing physical wellness support to people with chronic conditions. These partnerships validate the demand for lifestyle-fast care within existing healthcare ecosystems. There are 12.9 million Kenyans who have hypertension. We're targeting 4 million working-age adults between 27 and 50 years who spend nearly 10 million annually combined on care that often fails them. Our current B2C model is a pay-per-service where weekly meal plans and affordable remote consultations that save users both money and time compared to traditional care. For B2B, insurance companies and corporates, they will pay a monthly subscription to support chronic condition management for their members. Traditional healthcare is clinical fast, expensive, fragmented, and focused on drugs. Wellness apps are generic, not localized, and not clinically validated. Vitali Health is a lifestyle-fast, AI-driven, expert-backed platform for hypertension in Africa, delivered through WhatsApp, making accessible, culturally relevant, and scalable. We're a cross-functional team, blending expertise in health, technology, and business. I lead growth and partnership. Esther drives operations and business development. Zivo, our CTO, built our AI personalization engine, and Dr. Gemma Kebedi, a practicing cardiothoracic surgeon, ensures medical credibility. Together with contributions from nutritionists, fitness experts, and mental health experts, we've built Vitali to combine the best of clinical insight and technology. We're raising $150,000 to scale Vitali Health to 20,000 users within the next 12 to 18 months, while building a profitable and sustainable business. This funding will enable us to acquire real-world data to strengthen and personalize our AI model, complete clinical validation studies to establish medical credibility, and prove cost-effectiveness to patients, insurance, and partners. By combining clinical validation with a lifestyle-fast approach, we'll demonstrate that digital health can both improve outcomes and operate as a scalable, revenue-generating business. Our roadmap has 3 legs: preventative care through our WhatsApp platform and upcoming mobile app, lifestyle consultations and caregiver monitoring for families, chronic care insurance policies that are 50 to 70% cheaper because we prevent complications before they happen. At Vitali Health, we're not just managing blood pressure, we're reshaping chronic care. With your support, we can make affordable, effective healthcare a reality for millions of Africans while building a scalable and profitable business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Marita, please can you confirm that you are online?
I am here.
You can hear us. Hello, Marita.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Okay, so over to you, judges.
Hi, Marita. Thank you for your presentation. Just 2 questions from me. Firstly is the recommendations or clinical advice that is given to the users, how is that generated? So are they speaking to doctors at the time, or is it AI generated strictly? The second question as a follow-up to that is, it's healthcare, you're giving medical advice. Do you need to have any license or any approvals that allow you to do that so that you're not liable if a patient, for example, misuses a recommendation or an advice given? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for your question. First of all, I'd like to thank you for listening to our pitches. the whole cohort. We're very excited to be speaking to you. So I'll take the licensing question first. So in Kenya, when you are doing a lifestyle-based solution, any type of solution, you do not need a license, a medical license in any form. But then now that we also offer like a medical side of it, we got a partner, AR Healthcare. So now when it comes to now transferring the patient from lifestyle to medical, we transfer them to the medical side of it. So that still leaves us with no necessity to get that license. But we do have a cardiothoracic surgeon on our team who does make sure that the recommendations that we give are clinically sound. So the process is that someone, when they get to the chat, they do a brief evaluation. So from that evaluation, it's like your lifestyle, your habits, your medical, your doctor's recommendations. So we combine all that and we give you an AI-generated hypertension management plan. So that plan is based on nutrition, on fitness, and stress management, and it will pick the type of let's say during your evaluation, the habits that you include there, it will pick habits that you should stop, habits that you can continue with. So it's purely lifestyle based, but then when it comes to the medical side of it, that's when we transfer the users to now AR healthcare. So for us, we're just lifestyle.
All right, thank you.
All right. So I have a question around moving them away from their drugs, right? How do you manage that? Because most of these people that have started, they're already on drugs, right? It's not very easy to transition them away from those medication. And how are you able to do that? And also what kind of recommendation? Because I'm seeing like meal plans and consultations, more like you have like nutritionists on the team. How are you ensuring that, or better still, it would be better to answer the question on what's the success rate that you have seen so far, right? And how do you intend to scale that going forward?
I'm sorry, please repeat your first question.
So the question around transitioning them from their medication, right? So most of these people that are managing chronic health issues are already placed on medication, right? So how are you able to since what you're doing is lifestyle based, how are you able to transition them away from those medication? And are you using like, is like a doctor holding your hands through that journey? Are you working with the current doctors
Yes.
or something to transition them to ensure that there's no mishap or like, yeah.
Yes. So right now, what we targeted people who have had hypertension between 1 and 3 years, because that is easily reversible. When you find someone who's been on medication for more than 5 years, you can reduce the amount of medication that they do take and reduce the dosage that they take to something lesser, even when they've been on the medication for more than 5 years. So when it comes to hypertension, most of it's lifestyle based. It's called a lifestyle disease in itself. So unless it is caused by something else like a kidney disease or let's say a heart disease, now that's like hypertension 2. For hypertension 1, it's just basically lifestyle based, and that's the one that most people do have. So in that transition from medication to lifestyle, we don't just abruptly take you out of it. Now, if I can use myself as an example, I have a chronic condition. So I started with medication. We focused on medication first, and then the doctor had recommended lifestyle based on nutrition, fitness, and managing my mental health. So while I was applying those recommendations that I got on the nutrition and the physical wellness, I was getting better. So I was able to reduce the amount of medication that I take, because some foods can be used as can be used as medication. Some foods that you take can help you heal, let's say reduce your inflammatory levels. When you exercise, you can literally train your heart to sustain more, and it comes down to that food as medication, fitness as medication. So we don't just abruptly yank you from your medication. We pair it, and eventually you do manage to lessen the amount of medication that you take until you stop. So we've had like an 80% success rate for those who have been engaging with the platform every day. They've managed to reduce, like I can give one Example, she literally went from 190, which is the base, to 119. Yesterday, she gave me her BP. So we've had a very good success rate. So people are benefiting from the program. Yes.
Thank you very much, Marita, for your presentation. Please, let's put our hands together once again for Marita. We've been sitting for so long. Can we be upstanding? Just for 15 seconds. Let's stretch. Say hello to someone that you haven't said hello to today. Turn around. I want you to be flexible because you've been seated for so long. We're going to be going into a panel conversation. Okay, thank you very much. You can now sit down. I didn't want to take so much time, but I thought it was necessary that we have people stand for a while because especially our judges, they've been here seated all morning and it's now about 1 p.m. So very quickly, I'm going to be calling up on our panelists to come take their seats right in front. And the topic of this panel session is inclusive capital and the next wave of investing in Africa. To moderate this panel, we have Chukwuemeka Okeke, who is with Leap Africa. We're going to have their bios displayed on the screen. Chukwuemeka Okeke from Leap Africa. We also have on the panel, we have Samuel Frank of Sahara Impact Ventures. We also have Amaka Okechukwu, who is the founding partner at Weave Capital. We have Oluwashola Oshonuga, Investment Associate Ventures Platform. Where are we? Please, Chukwuemeka, come forward. Samuel Frank. Let's put our hands together for Samuel, please. Amaka Okechukwu. Oluwashola Oshonuga. Do we have Junie was in the room earlier? I don't know if she's back. Okay. All right. So Chukwuemeka, I now hand over this panel to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I can feel like the air conditioning is really, really much. I'll be honest. I think there's one more big example. And if you have to blame anybody for this gender imbalance, you know who to blame. It's definitely not me. Hold that young man on suit responsible. So we're going to keep this very neat and crisp as much as possible. And I'd like to say a very big thank you to Joba and the team from Opolo for this very wonderful initiative on the sidelines of the Nigerian Fintech Week. And to my panelists, let me say this, pure disclaimer. I have almost zero knowledge as to what we're doing here, but these are the guys you want to keep your focus on. And while I was hearing or listening to them, share their thoughts, particularly on the pitches I've gone so far, I said to myself, do I have the credibility to ask these guys questions? What if at some point they then ask me a question that I have to then reflect on? That's the point where I drop the mic and just use the door. But just to mention that we have really amazing guys who can do justice to this. So I have a couple of questions, but the theme, like we mentioned, of this particular session is largely how are we supporting female-led businesses or enterprises, and to mention that the guys who have actually come on to pitch have done a lot of the work, so it makes it even easier to just run through. Okay, so my first question, maybe I'll allow them to introduce themselves again very quickly, and we can proceed.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, yes, afternoon. Yeah, my name is Samuel Frank. I'm an associate at Sahara Impact Ventures, a VC fund based in Accra, investing with a gender and climate lens and early stage ventures, so pre-seed and seed stage. In the following sectors: agri systems, so food systems, production, processing, value creation, everything along that line. Clean energy, renewable energy, clean cooking, e-mobility, as well as what we like to call increased access. So increased access to healthcare, education, and financial services. Yes, thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Shola Oshonuga. I'm an associate at Ventures Platform. I work on the investment team, and I support with deal sourcing, deal execution, and due diligence. We're a Pan-African VC fund. We invest in early stage startups, so pre-seed to pre-series A, and we're able to follow on to Series A. We're sector agnostic, but we say that we back market creating innovation that solve non-consumption. So think of it as startups that are making it easier, less complex and more affordable for African individuals or African businesses to access essential products and services. I'll pause here.
All right, thank you. Okay, so I am Collins Gilbert, associate at Ventures Platform as well, but I work primarily with the platform and networks team. We're responsible for post-investment support to our portfolio companies. So we take portfolio support very seriously. So when they are done, we take over, but we work closely with the investment team in assessing the companies so that we understand very early on how we can begin to support those companies actively. We have a very robust network of professionals and subject matter experts that support us in supporting our companies, and we have deep resources as well that we leverage to support the companies. Yeah, thank you. I'm excited to share.
Thank you very much. So there you have it, the guys who are going to be doing justice to a couple of questions. So I'm going to start with the lady in our midst, Shola. And you know why I'm starting with her. If you don't, I don't have context to provide anymore. Okay. I like the fact that you mentioned the due diligence bit of it. Because thinking about the founders of this amazing ventures that we've listened to so far, a lot of due diligence has gone into it, right? So I just want to ask this. In terms of what part of the funding ecosystem are the real choke point? When you think about due diligence for businesses, what parts of the funding ecosystem have the most choke points, and how do you deal with due diligence, negotiation, and how do you provide that level of support? So it's like a two-in-one. What part of the funding ecosystem has the most choke point, and how do you deal with that from the standpoint of due diligence?
Could you clarify what you mean by choke points in due diligence?
So the funding ecosystem has a lot of the gaps. They are pain points, especially for those who are providing fund managers, LPs, GPs, and even the businesses themselves. The choke points on the supply side, the choke points on the demand side. But for what you do, the due diligence has to go in to provide support either for the supply side or the demand side. So how do you, from your own lens, where does due diligence come in to provide that layer of support or clarity for either parties to get what they want? If that's helpful.
Interesting question. I'll share my perspective from working in a VC. So this is how it works. There's deal sourcing. We have like this pipeline of companies who have built interesting things and want to get funding, right? We funnel them through. So we have screening and all of that. And then we get into due diligence. So especially like the very promising startups get to due diligence. And at due diligence, what we're trying to ascertain is, does the organization or the company have like the right things in place to actually get them from point 1 to point 10, right? So, depending on how it goes, no startup is like 100%. So what would happen is we understand where they are today. We're comfortable with where they are. So we do the investment and then we help them to get to point 10. So we understand what gaps need to be filled, and that after the due diligence process is then like a more collaborative process of like portfolio support.
Okay. So maybe the follow-up question to that would then be, what are the top 3 challenges that you encounter when you perform due diligence for businesses, or especially female-led businesses?
So I don't know that there are problems that are particular to female-led businesses. But with due diligence, it also depends on the stage of the business, right? So if they're very early, sometimes they don't really understand like that investment process and what to have in their data room. So a data room is like usually a virtual room where you have key documents for your business, and there are certain things that need to be there. Fair enough, for a pre-seed company, you might not have all of the things that you would see in a seed company, and you might not have them to the same degree, right? So a pre-seed company can get away with a very simple financial model, or maybe not even a financial model, depending on if they're at idea stage. But if you're at pre-series A or series A, you dare not have a financial model in your data room, right? So it's kind of understanding what is appropriate for your stage and making sure that you have all of those documents in the right place, they're up to date. So that I would say is like the number one problem with due diligence, having the data and just.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please, let's put hands together for Shola. I intentionally put her on a very, very tough spot. And she's done fantastic well. Okay. Samuel, tough one now. What we're looking at basically is inclusive capital.
Okay.
And the next wave of investing in Africa.
Yeah.
And I would always like to circle back to female-led businesses, because that's the crux of the conversation. So we keep hearing less than 2%, especially in that ecosystem, less than 2%. But what exactly should we be measuring? So I'll put it this way. The goal here is female only versus male and female versus female CEOs, right? What exactly should we be measuring, and why?
Okay, so I've come across a lot of data over the last 2 years with regards to the percentage of VC funding going to female-only founders. And every single year we are dealing with less than 2%, less than 2%, less than 2%. It's like a recurring, but it will shock you to discover that there are a lot of male-led businesses that are powering female entrepreneurs, right? That these numbers are not being told. Let me give an example. Literally every cold chain storage business in Nigeria and Africa, 70–80% of their end users who are entrepreneurs are women, right? But this number isn't told as if female businesses are being supported, right? So I think we need to go beyond just tracking either a female-led business, purely female-led business, or female co-founded business, or mixed teams, to look at how do we, because that's where the 2X agenda now comes in, right? Because it allows you as a fund manager to deploy funding to businesses that meet certain criteria as far as the generalist is entirely covered, right? So I think we need to go beyond, because at the end of the day, right, Africa will never run shy of being the continent with greater percentage of female entrepreneurs. Whether it's business owners, whether small business owners, micro and small, medium scale business owners, all of these numbers will not run shy of it within the next decade, right? And so if we're always waiting to see when VC funding to female tech businesses will rise, to 10, 20, 30%, we are not covering the real data of number of entrepreneurs that are actually supported through the in quotes, male-founded tech solutions that are accessing VC funding today, right? So I think we should go beyond just tracking that 2% or less than 2% data to see, okay, of the male businesses that were supported, right? When you look at them, how many of these businesses are supporting female businesses? It will shock you that when you look at businesses who are purely B2B solutions, right? That you see that even lending businesses today, most of the lending solutions that are fintech run by male founders, most of the entrepreneurs that they are supporting are women, right? So would you say, oh, we are not supporting VC funding isn't going to women at the end of the day, right? I know the number of 2% needs to rise, and I'm not, before I'm being lynched as I leave this room now. But yes, I'm not saying that number doesn't need to rise, but I think we need to track, start tracking the data to cover this detail to see, okay, how many women entrepreneurs down the chain, are being supported, basically. Yeah, because I think that number is a lot bigger. Yeah,
I quite agree with you. Thank you very much. And maybe to lend credence to what you said, then would be two key points. One would be the monitoring, evaluation, research and learning units, how they are explaining this data, capturing this data, and then communicating with the communications image of it, pushing that data, that narrative out to say, beyond just the less than 2%, there's actually a number that's indirectly supported away from the direct support that we are representing or reporting. Fantastic. Okay. Collins. Yes, now it's your turn. So I'm just curious to know what the role of DFIs. You think about all the financiers in this regard, DFIs, development banks, concessional capital. What role do they play versus commercial VCs in terms of providing that access to inclusive?
Can you ask again?
Okay,
just
let me try and clarify a bit.
Yeah.
So what role should DFIs, development banks, concessional capital play in scaling women-led businesses?
Okay, so I would probably address this from two angles. One is what I've seen them do, and maybe some other approaches that they could explore, right? So firstly, with what I've seen them do. So I think this was last year, one of our ventures platform, we have a couple of DFI LPs, right? And one of them actually funded I think it was 8 weeks or 8 months. I think it's months. Yeah, it was a course, like a really detailed course on gender lens investing, right? And it was really detailed, strong research to back it. And one of the key learnings, for example, for us was just seeing some subtle biases that exist that you wouldn't know, or subtle ways that you could actually show better support for female founders. For example, as simple as when someone visits your website, what are the first set of pictures they see? Is it just men, or are women represented as well? And there's a higher chance that if you put a woman's picture first, men will still apply, but more women will feel encouraged to also apply, because now they'll be like, oh, there's someone here, or ideas like, okay, having more women on the investment team to understand the business. For example, I've seen directly how that actually informs how we make investment decisions. We have, I think everyone on the investment team is actually all women, yes, aside the partners, So it's exciting to see how, like, for example, when you're discussing maybe a deal that touches on reproductive health for women, there's no way that a man would understand it as well, except he's a gynecologist, and we're not gynecologists, right? So, but they understand it to a better extent, and they can give like context to how we assess the opportunity. But even beyond like female focused or businesses that affect women directly, just understanding like the realities can be sometimes different from how business, how women, approach how they think about their business, right? So that's one way I've seen it work. The other thing that I think, these organizations can do is maybe matching funds, right? So, not to, okay, Collins, be careful. So, for example, just here, one thing that we've had 6 speeches. I think 5 of them, no one has asked for more than, except one, maybe 500. Yeah, that was the highest. I think everyone else is either 500 or less, or 250. And I was like, why are you asking for less? Like, why not more, right? Why are you trying to raise, for just 12 months runway or 18 months runway? Why not try to stretch a long runway longer and raise more money now, so you don't have to like always go back to the market? But I understand that, sometimes the fear is, oh, if I ask for more, it would take longer to raise that. Investors might not, I might not get as early traction in my fundraise as quickly as possible. But if you have these DFIs and organizations say, hey, If you raise 250, I will match 250. So you get 500. So the VCs know, okay, to some extent, I am confident that this person can raise more money to go further. Because as a VC, 12 months runway does not give me a lot of confidence, to be sincere, right? Raising for 12 months does not give me a lot of confidence because anything could go wrong. Your predictions will most likely be wrong. So you need room to catch up. And so if things like that exist, I think it could help. Yeah.
This is really interesting. I'm still just to tweak it a bit, or what then would you? Okay, let me put it this way. When you compare that now with male-led businesses, what bigger lessons would you say beyond looking for bigger funding or extended funding or extended period of time or other levels of impact investing or impact funding that they can get? What are the key lessons would you say the 6 persons who have pitched to say you could have looked for in terms of requests for funding or other forms? What are the key lessons would you say you can draw out from that experience from DFIs for these 6 persons who have pitched beyond even requesting for more time? Because I want to make it as direct as possible. What I've heard you say is you could have asked for more, you could have asked for more time with more money. What are the key lessons would you
so let me be sure I understand. So you're asking, beyond like funding,
Yes.
what other things have we seen from maybe male founders that we think female founders could?
Can also learn from.
Okay, yeah. Again, ambition is a two-edged sword, right? So you see, I think male founders some of them can be overly, ambitious and optimistic. Borderline unrealistic. But I also think that sometimes female founders tend to be too conservative, right? So you're saying, okay, I need 250K right now, and I want to get to, let's say, 25K MRR in 12 months. Now, what stops you from hitting 75 or 100, right? Now, again, there's context. There's a lot of other things that would impact that number. But can you actually ask yourself or push yourself to think that far? Now, I'm not saying all female founders are that conservative, right? We've seen really, but I tend to see that it's more common amongst female founders where they tend to try to tone it down so that you don't expect too much, but then they blow your mind, which is good. But sometimes you, as an investor, I want to see that, okay, if I'm putting in 250K now, how much impact is it making for your business to get you to the next level? What's that major milestone that I'm excited about to fund? And sometimes it seems too conservative, and it's hard to then begin to sell your own ambition to them because it's their business.
Thank you very much for that. And I intentionally put you on the spot for that one because I wanted to I wanted to create a bit of context to it. Most times it's easier within the African context to say that the male-led businesses get away with certain things. And one of them is this level of brutal, I'm going to put everything in. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But in the context of female-led businesses in Africa, we have a lot more of them not working, that funders do not want to put money in. And even if they put money in, they want to know we're not going to put it in a business where you're not going to give 100. Let me put it this way. Because of that 2% we talked about earlier, a lot more funders are not willing to put in a lot more. Funders want to put in money and know that they're fully backed, and that's where matching comes into excellent. But how many funders are willing to get to that point? DFIs, HNIs, home offices are willing to even give that. If you don't think about VCs, what other forms of investing or capital can they also access? But maybe I'm going to ask Charlotte now.
Thanks for the question. So I think that women are, as he said, there are a lot more enterprises that are led by women on the continent, right? So women are more familiar with some of the other kinds of financing. So loan is kind of straightforward, raising from family and friends, raising from alternative sources is fine. I think women are still kind of new to the VC space. Men have had a head start. They've made mistakes. And women are getting into it. And some, of course, would make some mistakes. But that's how like things grow, right? It's never linear. You'd come and find that some of the best founders are those who have built multiple times. They come on the calls and say 2x founder, 3x founder. And it makes sense because they've tried something out and they've discovered what doesn't work. And to be honest, they're very courageous to do it again. So yeah, that's kind of like where we want women to eventually get to. There's also something else about like a pipeline. So when you talk about the 2%, that's kind of like an output. You need to think about the inputs. So what is before the female founder, a female operator? Do we have that many female operators? If you look at the startups and you look at who is in the leadership team, how many women do you find there? Because those are the people who would eventually leave the startups and want to build something else, right? So you need to look at that. And then there's this advertisement that has been going around. I don't know how many of us have seen it, but the catchy phrase there is like, women are missing at the top. So then you look at the bottom and see, okay, how many women are even at the bottom and why aren't they progressing to the top? So that is the pipeline that we kind of need to be tracking. But yeah, is there anything I've missed out of the question?
Not exactly, but this is where any other person can add to this. You talked about the pipeline, and I'll give you a classic example. We were thinking of there's always accelerator hubs, for example, the SheScales conference, the SheScales program. But do we have one for fund managers? But how popular are those ones? Everyone has the one supporting enterprises, building incubators, building accelerators. But do we have accelerators for fund managers, accelerators for VCs that help train?
Just female fund managers? Or
no, even
all the fund
now,
managers?
if you narrow it down to female, it becomes thinner. If
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
So Collins mentioned that training, the genderless investing thing. There are a number of fund managers that are also looking to get like the 2x certification. So all those things require that team members, fund managers take trainings to understand the biases and the nuances that surround like investing in women and how to approach that kind of genderless investing. To be fair, I'm not very familiar with like an accelerator program for fund managers targeting female fund managers, but we think it's also super important to be able to bring in female fund managers. They would probably know more female startups. The female startups would be more excited to speak to a female VC. And that's how we just grew like inclusion and women involvement in the VC and startup ecosystem.
I agree with you. And it seems like Samuel has.
So just to add to the conversation around female fund managers, right? So the More and More Accelerator program is one been done here in Africa, for which my managing partners were a part of it last year. So yes, those opportunities exist for, that makes it a lot easier for female founders to approach. But like you said, in the pipeline, what's that flow like, right? If you don't have a lot of female businesses that come in, or female-led businesses, at the end of the day, they are still competing for slots or for funding with male founders. So it's a real thing of how many female businesses that are VC backable. That's another thing as well. That are VC backable. Do you have side by side with male businesses who are competing for, like I said, the same pool of $2.5 billion capital in Africa? Anyway, your next question.
Tough one, tough one. Okay, now in closing, I'll just get your final thoughts on this as we close out. And again, to remind us that we're talking about inclusive capital and the next wave of investing in Africa, specifically for female-led businesses. So final words then would be, what would you say to a female-led business in terms of looking, sourcing, or building the next business, or being able to access inclusive funding in Africa? Start with
okay, maybe to start off, I would say that I do respect female founders because I believe that, again, please don't come for me. I think women are better nurturers, right? Like
you should give yourself a round of applause if you're being honest.
They make the most of what is given to them, right? You see them try their best to make sure that that business doesn't die. Many times, or on the other side, you could see a male founder who is burning through cash, aggressively, and and just once he feels like, oh, there's not much going on here, he's willing to let it go, right? And sometimes you need to know when to end things quickly, but you see women, female founders that are really willing to dig it out. So I think you could. I think that because, again, many of the female founders coming in they're not 2X founders. So maybe you're a first-time founder. You want to, for the founder quality conversation, which is a big part of the conversation at that early stage, at pre-seed, the founders want to have confidence in the founder. Talk a lot about the work that you've done, even if it's not directly connected to what you're doing now. What are the outcomes? So you've had a job. What were things you led on and you got done? Right? And how has that shaped how you lead? Because leadership is important. Problem solving is important. And then, of course, come to that conversation with a deep understanding of the problem you're trying to solve and how your solution is best equipped for it. Because your investors should not know better than you about your industry or about your problem, right? So those are two things I think, like, if you communicate very clearly, it gives something to the investors to actually think about, about you, about what you're building, and maybe, hopefully be excited enough to back.
There was something Samuel said, venture backable business. And in layman's terms, think of very high growth business, tech or tech enabled, large market size. And I want to hone into that large market size because what I see sometimes is that female founders are building really exciting things that they are absolutely passionate about. But the size might not be as large. So it makes it difficult for a VC to put in a significant amount of money because at the back of our minds, we need to be thinking about our returns and the way the math works for our funds. So if you're operating in a small market, then it's just not going to be VC backable. So as you're thinking about ideation and thinking about the kind of problems that you should solve, you need to really look into problems that are really huge, massive market size, and be as audacious as Collins has admonished you guys to be. But yeah, primarily market size when you're thinking about ideation.
Thank you very much. You've heard from a lady, though.
Okay, my final thoughts. Number one, female founders, please get a female founder that has succeeded and let that person be your mentor. Because it is in this space, I know there's a lot of coaching, incubator, accelerator, but please, I think the best way you can learn is find someone, a female founder, the person might be in your sector or not, but someone who has built in your own market, and hold on to that person like your life depends on it. Because it's a lot easier for that person to transfer lessons to you. Number two, if you're a co-founder with a male co-founder, if you're a female co-founder and you have a male co-founder, please, when you get on calls, please talk. Yes, please talk. I'm saying this out of experience. Please talk. I get on calls and it's only end-to-end due diligence, conversations, negotiations. It's only the guy.
And you're wondering, at the end of the day, we are justified that we've invested in a female-led business because it's co-founded by a woman. But at the end of the day, you don't hear the voice because she now carries the voice of other women in the team in the conversation, as well as obviously if the business is now supporting more women, it's easy to hear what they actually need. And even you as an investor, you know what kind of valuation support you can give post-investment. The third thing that I would like to say is this. Please be loud online. I think I'll just leave it as that. Because please be loud online. I come on LinkedIn every single day, and I'm looking for founders. Like there's a deal I'm about to close, and I met the founder just on LinkedIn.
That one hit home.
I like no referral, nothing. Nobody sent a deck to me. I found him on LinkedIn. So please talk about what you do. But yeah, I hope that helped somebody anyway. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Couldn't I said it any better? I believe the panelists have done justice to it. It said Africa is not just a sector, or rather a continent. Africa is the sector. The world is coming to Africa. And when you build, even as a female-led business, build with leadership, build with the future in mind, with wide market space, and build with a lot of visibility. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chukwuemeka. Thank you, Collins. Thank you, Shola. Thank you, Samuel. Group pictures, please hold on. 30 minutes is not enough to speak about gender-lens investment. So gender-lens investing, and I believe that we've all gone with solid points. I'm so sorry, we're unable to take questions. They're here. You can reach out to them individually to ask some questions if you do have one. Before we go back into the pitching, I would like to invite Armand Muganga, who is the business development manager at Kigali International Financial Center. They're one of the sponsors of the Nigerian Fintech Week. He has a few words to share with us. Please put your hands together for Armand as he takes the microphone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. Yes, my name is Armand, and as she mentioned, I'm coming from Kigali, Rwanda, and I represent an organization called the Kigali International Financial Center. So the Kigali International Financial Center is a financial jurisdiction. You've heard of Mauritius, you've heard of Casablanca or Dubai. So Kigali is also one of those. And more to that, the Kigali International Financial Center is actually becoming the home for African fintechs, because we are fintech friendly, especially for startups and founders, as he mentioned, because we want fintechs to come and structure through the Kigali International Financial Center. On top of the incentives, we also have initiatives where we launched we developed and launched the sandbox, where you can come and test your solution or your technology and then be able to deploy. And then you deploy either in Rwanda or elsewhere in Africa. So we do support, we have support for that. And through the ecosystem, you can also be able to raise funds through the funds that are domiciliated at the Kigali International Financial Center. So as part of our trip here is just like to create awareness. We go in so many countries where we talk about our center. And today as well, we did the same. But we also have a flagship event on our own, which is called the Inclusive FinTech Forum. It's happening next year from March 10th to 12th. So if you go around the VIP lounge, you'll see the banner with a QR code. Feel free if you want to register, because we have a limited free passes for now. And if you have any question, you can also find me there. I'm happy to give you more details about Kigali International Financial Center. So it's not only for Kigali, it's for Africa, as I said. So we have a lot of fintech that have structured from Nigeria and West Africa. And my presence there was just to let you know about that and encourage you and to search more about that, because there are a lot of opportunity that lies for you there. So also for me, I'm just doing the promotional part, but we also work with specialized service providers. Like I traveled with my colleague from DITOS. DITOS, they're specialized into helping fintechs or funds or holding companies to structure at the Kigali International Financial Center. So we are around. If you have any question, let us know. And I'm happy to be here with you today. And yeah, and all the best. And thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Aman. So we're going right back into the pitch. We have 7 ventures that are going to be pitching in second round, and we'll take it as quickly as possible. We know that the day has been fast spent. Next, we have 440 Global. Gracious, do we have Gracious here? Okay. And is her slide ready? Just sit down. Be calm. Any learning points from the panel? Is then okay, she's here. So please come up and take care. I was going to ask us what we had learned from the panel, but yes.
Thank you so much. And good afternoon, everyone. Okay, my name is Grace. Yes, I remember you from the Find Your Voice event. Hello. My name is Gracious Akonde, the CEO and co-founder of 440 Global Shopping. So I have a quick question. How many of you have ever missed out on a Black Friday deal just because, not because you didn't want that deal, but because you either couldn't afford it in that moment? Anyone has awesome. So next slide, please. You can go to the next slide. So we realized that millions of Nigerians experience that frustration where there's a deal, Black Friday comes up, a brand is doing a sale, and somehow they miss it just because they can't afford it. Or businesses who want to, buy from China, but then unfortunately they don't have the upfront capital to unlock that industry or that trade. And then we thought about, providing the solution, which is that 440 is bridging the gap between global platforms, providing a deals platform where people can buy easily from any global store. Think Amazon, think Shein, Temu, and the likes, but they don't have to pay all at once. Pay 50%, and when the goods arrive, you can pay the balance. As a matter of fact, 440 will be live at the Canton Fair in China next week, just so that we can bring, thank you. Thank you so much. Just because we are trying to make it easier for businesses to be able to access suppliers in China. There's a market person in Balogun right now who wants to buy from China, but she can't afford it. And so what she will do is to look for a wholesaler in that same market, thus reducing her profit margin because she's not able to source directly. That's the problem 440 is trying to solve. So for the B2B and the B2C. Next slide, please. So on 440 now, on our mobile app, on Play Store and App Store, we have over 100,000 aggregated curated deals across multiple platforms such as Amazon, AliExpress, 1688, Shein, Temu. And then you can lock in a deal at the moment with just 50%. We also have an AI, you can still stick to that. We also have an AI shopping assistant that makes it easy for you to find products so that you're not overwhelmed with finding exactly what you need, thus reducing your shopping time on the platform. Also, you can pay in Naira. Attraction. In the past 12 months, we've done over 101,000 in GMV with a revenue of 20,000 plus. And we've sold over 5,000 plus products with a repeat customer rate of 45%. And on Amazon and on Play Store and App Store, we have over 15,000 plus downloads across board. Currently, we have direct partnerships with AliExpress and 1688 with direct API integrations on our app. Next slide. Of course, that traction already tells you that there is a market fit for our product and our solution. The market opportunity, as we all know, is endless. But of course, the e-commerce in Nigeria is over $13 billion, and we're hoping to take $1.5 billion of that general market. Next slide, please. Our business model is very simple. We have a profit margin of between 5 to 20% on every product sold. So we have a markup. And then there's also the interest that is paid on the installment payments that customers pay. We also have affiliate commissions from our global partners like AliExpress. Like this. Hello, everyone. Okay, thank you. So we are a multi-platform deal, meaning that we've aggregated multiple platforms on our app, and then you can lock deals on international products. So you're buying from China, you're buying from Amazon, you don't have to pay all at once. And of course, you can pay in Naira, thus you're not going to struggle with Forex fluctuations. And then our AI shopping assistant, I believe, stands us out. Next slide, please. Our marketing strategy is simple. Through influencer partnerships, paid digital ads, corporate sales, affiliate commission, and of course, our campus ambassador programs across universities in Nigeria. Next slide, please. Our team, I'm the co-founder and CEO. Of course, my team here brings combined over 30 plus years experience across technology, operations, SaaS products, and even communications. Next slide, please. And so our ask is $500,000, and we're hoping to use this to scale our operations, hire more key talent, and of course, improve on our technology. So when next someone needs to access a Black Friday deal or stock up their store, 440 is the solution. And so every day is Black Friday. Thank you.
Please put your hands together for 440 Global Shipping. Questions, just two.
Hi, Grace or Gracious?
Gracious.
Yeah, thank you. Interesting. So if I understand clearly, you buy and sell.
We don't buy, we sort of
Aggregate.
Yes.
So how do you make how do you then mark up? Because so is it like on the back end?
On the back end,
Okay,
yes.
just-
On the back end, yes.
Okay,
So we've marked
but
up.
how does that affect the purchasing power of your customers, right? Like you gave an example, a woman in Balogun wants to restock,
Source,
but
yeah.
she needs to go through a local wholesaler because she can't afford. So
Buy directly from
yeah, but
China.
now this is 20% more.
So
and this is does that 20% cover logistics and all, or they will pay for that separately as well?
So we've included the fees in our, so what we do is for the supplier or the merchant, in this case for the B2B, we're able to negotiate better deals directly with the supplier. I mentioned that will be live at the Canton Fair because we're trying to negotiate better deals directly with the suppliers, not limiting ourselves to platforms. So the platforms will be more available to individual customers, but for merchants like the woman in Balogun, there will be, we negotiate even better discounts such that even when we're providing the products to her, she's still getting it at a better deal because we've cut out at least 2 to 3 middlemen between her and the manufacturer in China.
How long have you been operating?
Just 12 months live with our product in the market.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I have a question around, thank you for your presentation. I have a question around how you do the financing bit.
Okay.
Right, if they're able to pay 50% of what, how do you match that gap?
So we have our financial partners who do the funding for
What kind of partners do you have?
So we have credit partners like Clan Africa who funds those transactions, yes, because we have people who want to pay outright as well. So that's not an issue. But for credits, we have our credit partners too.
Okay, but like you don't see us in the long term or like in the medium term negotiating that kind of negotiating with the suppliers themselves so that you can get that leeway.
With suppliers or with the
like
funding?
No, not with the partners, right?
Okay.
So like having to, because if you are getting funding from partners, they also take their cut and that's eating into your profit,
Yes.
right? But like if you get to negotiate with these suppliers, right,
Which is
so
what
that
we're
you get
doing.
to pay, you can pay later, not if you understand what,
Outright.
yeah, not outrightly. It would sort of help you with your margins, but it's fine.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. So you've been in existence for 12 months. You've
Yes.
generated 20K in revenue. How much of that has come from B2B versus B2C? And when you think about growth going forward,
Yeah.
where do you think you would focus more efforts in, B2B or B2C?
So to be fully transparent, we've been focusing on the B2B, I'm sorry, B2C rather, which is why our trip to China is really trying to open us up to the B2B. So of course we see ourselves focusing more on the B2B just because of the volume that we can unlock with the B2B strategy. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sorry. Thank you very much. Please let's put our hands together for Gracious. Up next, we have Mary of Gear Up. And Gear Up empowers African creatives with affordable access to equipment, studios, and courses through a trusted peer-to-peer platform. Please put your hands together for Mary as she comes up to pitch her venture.
Okay, I think I can stay here. I would have to look at my slide. Yes. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mary Odogwu. I'm the founder of Gale. Please give me my slides. Next slide. Okay. In 2022, I started to rent out the equipment we have in our studio to other creators whenever we weren't using them. And over time, the demand increased and we couldn't serve a lot of other creatives across Nigeria. We found out a deeper problem that quality equipment in Nigeria across Africa costs 30 to 50% more. 60% of African creatives struggle to find decent studio spaces. Over 50% of gear rental deals faces transaction transparency and trust issues. We decided to come up with a product which is Gear Up, a peer-to-peer platform that pairs African creators with the right resources they need. So on the platform, they can rent equipment, buy equipment, access courses, find gig opportunities. And with our escrow system payments, we're also solving the issue of trust and transparency. Next slide, please. So our product is pretty straightforward. Once a user verifies their KYC on the platform, they head on to the categories, which is the marketplace, where all listed equipments are found on the platform. So once they find what they are looking for, they ask for availability from the gear owner. And once that is confirmed, they move it to the cart. On the cart, they see like the transaction summary, and then they can place an order. Payment is made through fiat, through their wallets with fiat money or cryptocurrency. Next slide, please. So, and it's already working. In 3 months of launch, we've onboarded over 1,000 users. We've completed 1,500 transactions currently. We currently have over 281 active listings on the platform. We've been able to raise $125,000 in grants. And also we have 100,000 worth of gears in our assets. Next slide, please. And the market is large. African creative economy is worth $2.5 trillion. And the global creative economy is worth $2.5 trillion, and Africa's share is projected at $50 billion by 2030. And in 5 years, we target to capture 1% of that serviceable obtainable market, which is $250 million. Next slide, please. Our business model is simple and scalable. We take commissions on rentals and sales, booking fees, insurance markups, as well as revenue from event coverages. Next slide, please. Why now? Well, the African creative economy is booming, and this is followed by social media, streaming demands, and the adoption of shared economy. And currently, Gear Up is the first peer-to-peer marketplace for creators in Africa to rent equipment. And with our ecosystem, with our full ecosystem approach, which involves renting, courses, and gig opportunities, we have the first movers advantage. Next slide. Okay, so today we are raising $500,000 in SAFE at 3 million valuation, and these funds will be used for product research and development, marketing and partnerships, legal and market expansion, insurance funds, and key hiring. Next slide, please. So when it comes to execution, our team has over 30 years of experience in media, creative entrepreneurship, as well as technology. I myself am the CEO and founder of Gear Up with my background in scaling creative businesses from ground up. So I am a creative entrepreneur by heart. And then I have Igodario Magbai, who is the Sony ambassador and also has 20 years of experience in film and documentary making. And also we have Samuel Dalafia, who's our CTO with several years of experience, over a decade of experience in scaling and building financial products across Nigeria. Thank you very much. So join us to democratize access to creative resources in Africa. Thank you. Okay, business model.
Business model, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you guys don't buy any gear or sell any gear.
Okay, no.
You're just a marketplace.
We're a marketplace that pairs gear owners, just like Airbnb and both.
Yeah.
Pair the owners of the gear and then the people that needs the gear.
Yeah.
So at some point, the owners of gears can also be renting. They can be owners of gears today, but tomorrow they may also want to rent other equipment that they do not own. So they can be like owners and renters.
Yeah. So again, a big challenge with that is that you then have to make sure that there is enough demand and enough supply at the same time. So how do you drive both ends of the scale?
Okay, currently we have enough demand. We are trying to match the supply to the demand. I mean, so the way we are able to get this demand is through community. We leverage on communities. We leverage on film academies, and then we also reach out to rental houses, because we have rental houses that already operate as a business, right? So we reach out to these people to onboard their products on the platform. And then we also have creators who are independent, and then they own their own gears as well. So a lot of times when they are not using this equipment, they can rent it to other people that need it. So they can list it on the platform and other creators can access it on the platform.
Okay, so my own question is around the key concern for me, right? How do you manage when people rent these gears or equipment, right? How do you ensure that they are handling it properly? And if there's a damage or if there's an issue of loss or theft, how are you able to solve for that? And have there been any issue like that so far?
Okay, I really like that question because I've personally experienced this before we built Gear, because we just launched like in July. But before we launched, we've been in this business for a couple of years now. And I experienced this recently, that was last year in October, where somebody rented an equipment and didn't actually return it, right? So yes, they actually ran away with it. And although we were able to track them because we take like some sort of insurance, or should I say collateral from them. So we're able to, what we do in-house is we take their KYC. Even before we build the product, we try to collect their ID cards. So it could be government ID card or school ID card, because we also work with a lot of students that are like creators. So it happened that this person rented the equipment and didn't return it. So we had access to all of their details. Though it took us a couple of months to get the equipment back, but we're able to recover, we're able to catch the person and recover these things, right? So how Gear Up is solving that problem for gear owners is that it's true that we can actually still get these people because we have their details. But while all that is going on, what happens to the gear owner? That's where the insurance comes in. So we have that insurance fund. We're working with insurance partners as well to provide that insurance for gear owners. So in a case of loss, damage, or theft, that insurance is activated and it covers the gear owner. And that period where we spend to actually like probably catch the person or get figure out everything that has happened with the equipment, the gear owner is not in loss because the insurance is already covered that particular equipment. So once the equipment is picked up, the insurance is activated until the return of the equipment. So does that answer your question? Okay.
Wow, what a story. Thank you very much. Please let's put our hands together for Gear Up. So coming up next, we have Sports Reel, Gochinyere. And Sports Reel connects youth athletes from emerging markets to global scouts and clubs through a streamlined recruitment platform. Please let's put our hands together for Gochinyere. And she looks the part.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ugochi, and I'm the founder of Sports Rails. Let me start by saying, how many people know an athlete here who has tried to be an athlete and never made it pro? Raise your hand. Good. So I'm an ex-athlete who played basketball for Nigeria. I played the under-16. I was even voted most likely to succeed, right? But did I succeed? That's the question. We started playing for passion. We played at a time when they've not started sharing 300K at a time when we're playing, but it's still something that we're happy that now they're sharing money. So good. So Sports Rails is basically solving a very huge problem. Next slide, please. Right now, a kid somewhere in Ilorin can never be able to be seen by a scout somewhere in Salzburg. Why? Because of a lack of data, not because of lack of skills, not because of lack of understanding of the game, but because there's no data to back it up. In fact, I flew in one of our, props. He has 33 medals. He was a top athlete, but he's not an athlete today. He's actually here in the crowd. He's a senior product designer for a company in America. So imagine with 33 medals and everything, the most talented, the most everything, and he never went pro. Next slide, please. Sports Rails is data driving the talent discovery process. Sports Rails is an AI and data technology that solves the problem of de-risking the investments in scouting and transfer for global sports teams in emerging markets. Oftentimes, one of the things that you get to hear is, oh, I'm so good. I'm the next Messi. I'm the next Ronaldo. Who cares? Who knows, right? That is what Sports Rails is here to solve. Next slide, please. With the rise of big data today, especially in the UK, having infected the UK point ranking system in recruitment, this is very essential. The need for data to be able to back every athlete, especially in Africa, where the data is fragmented. This is a snapshot of what our demo looks like, and you can be able to access the platform to be able to see more of what we're doing. Next slide, please. We currently have traction with over 10 leagues in Africa. One of the big ones that we closed is the NPFL Youth League, where we're actually data analyzing and collecting the data to be able to position these athletes for the emerging markets, or rather from the emerging markets to the global market. We also have partnerships with Sporting CP, which is one of the biggest clubs in Portugal, as well as so many other clubs in Portugal that we're working with. We just even closed a deal yesterday with another team in Portugal and Italy. So there's a demand for this talent from outside the country, to be able to gauge what they're doing and be able to give them that opportunity. Next slide, please. We currently have our traction where we have successfully transferred a player who is currently on loan at a club in Portugal. We made 3.8K, actually made 4,000, but then we had to pay the scout who actually helped us to close that deal, 150 and then $50 for tax. And then, it's growing year on year. We have active users of 2.3 thousand players currently on our platform and 10 global scouts with the demand for even more, because the demand for data, especially for talent, is endless. Next slide, please. this is a global opportunity because the total addressable market is 64 billion by 2027. So you can imagine how fast that is growing. In Africa, we have a target market of $489 million. And currently we only have a market share of 0.015, which is literally less than 1, right? So we have a long way to go in terms of data fragmentation and collection. Next slide, please. So how do we make money, which is very interesting, right? There's so many ways to make money. But for us, we're going to be making money from the teams. To be able to access our platform as a team, you need to pay $200. And as a scout, you need to pay $1,000 per year. So we are one of the most affordable on the market, though we're not going to be affordable for so long. But, you know, we intend to start that way. The subscription revenue is one of our parts. We also have a one-time success fee for when you do eventually make a successful transfer. You know, you go pro, 100,000, 200,000. We have a percentage of either 3% or $5,000, whichever one is higher. And then we have the hardware leasing, which is something our competitors are not doing, where we are currently in R&D for our camera system to be able to help those people, not just to make them visible, but also to help them collect the data, because to have professional grade cameras, you know, you have to rent a videographer, you have to do this, you have to do that. But then we're in R&D to make our own camera system, where we first start by financing the video tech for these clubs, and then eventually they get to own them. So that is a model that we have learned that, you know, would eventually work. Next slide, please. Our competitors. So good thing we do have competition. Some of our competitions are Eyeball, Y Scout, AfriScout, Scout Decision. But what makes us seamless? We are more affordable, we're more easy to use, and then, you know, we have location-specific pricing. So we're not just charging you, you know, European prices or American prices. We're charging you based on your location. So here in Africa is more affordable to be able to pay 300K, 350,000 for a year to get all of your players. We don't cap your players. You can put up to 60, 100. It's okay. All your videos, all your data. We help you to aggregate and position you for visibility. Next slide, please. So our roadmap, so actually we've completed for Q4, and we have currently had partnerships with Sporting CP, like I said, Desportivo and Moldova, Wolfsburg, which we've actually even closed, Waffle A and B, we're currently in talks to support that, partnerships with some other clubs, leagues in Africa, the AUSC. We hope to be able to, you know, partner with the Zone 2 games, and then do more research on our AI sports cameras, and then test by 2027 to be able to support clubs in Africa. Next slide, please. So we're currently asking for 300,000 pre-seed at a 7.5%, safe at $4 million pre-money valuation. We're hoping to be able to use this to research on our sports cameras, pay our AI engineers to be able to, you know, help us with our data model, our sales and marketing, as well as, you know, building the product and more. We hope to get investors who actually believe not just in us and in the dream, but also who understand the risk and how big and global the market is. Next slide, please. This is our team. We actually don't have everybody on here, but I'm Ugochi, obviously the Grow Product Manager, a FIFA licensed agent as well, an ex-athlete, an so many things. But you know, this is currently who I am, the CEO and founder of SpotReels, and that is my head of technology. That is our senior product and brand designer, and then, you know, other advisors that we do have on the board. Next slide, please. Thank you so much for listening, and join us in shaping African potential without borders. Give people an opportunity to be seen, and then let's make money together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Georges, over to you.
Thanks for the pitch, Ugochi. So you started by talking about like the boy in Ilorin.
Yeah.
How are you ensuring that all these boys or girls in remote parts of Nigeria and Africa today can get seen? And then 2, what does your AI do?
Good question. Thank you so much for that. So on the first one, we ensure that we first of all partner with the leagues, because we have discovered that those who play the leagues, according to the ranking system, are those who are actively being looked for. So you actually have to play a league in your country or in your region to be able to be on the platform. So we actively partner with the leagues in this various regions to be able to have that boy in Ilorin get visibility, even without, you know, knowing much about how to go about it. Then for the second question, the AI actually does a lot. Number one, it helps to analyze the data. So one of the things that they're going to ask you is, I want to see your footage, right? Now, when I want to see your footage, I don't just want to watch your game. I want to actually get the metrics, the position-specific metrics. So the AI is going to help the scouts and agents analyze those metrics that we cannot see. For instance, I cannot see how fast the player ran, right? I cannot see how many duels he was able to get. I mean, they will tell you, oh yeah, he had 14 duels, but how do you know that? He could have had 22. He could have had so many other metrics that you couldn't see with your bare eyes. So what we're trying to do is to data drive the eye test, where you have watched the video, you see the player, you know the player is good, but you're using objective data to be able to back up what you're saying. So the AI is going to give you that objective data to be able to back up, to go to your sporting director and say, this guy is worth $1 million. I want to bring him to the team.
Thank you.
No problem.
I'm excited about this because, recently I was ranting literally to one of my friends about how I think that in a country with over 200 million people, you would find really exciting talent in sport, but like nobody is finding ways to discover them. So this is good to see. But it sounds to me like you're mostly focused on football right now. Is that true? Or
football and basketball.
Football
right
and
now.
basketball. Okay. Okay. Is that based on your background, or is that based on like what you think there's greater demand for?
Thank you. Thank you for that question. So based on my background, if I'm going to be biased, obviously I'm going to start with basketball. But based on the business need, and obviously as investors, they will not tell you that, oh, because you play basketball, come and do basketball. No, we are footballing nation. We're footballing continent, right? Even the Rwandese, they play a lot of football, in as much as basketball is even their first sport. So we have to focus on football first because there's a whole lot of market when it comes to that, right? Even FIFA is looking for people to bring in more people into the game. With the rise of women's game as well, we've seen our ladies doing us proud, going out there and bringing medals home. But, how do we now discover more of these people from, remote regions? How do we get all of these people to come to the front and say, this is their data. This actually shows how many people are actually actively playing this sport. So that is why we're focusing on football and basketball, football being the main, and then basketball supporting the, because there's more people playing football than other sports.
Thank you.
Would that be all?
Can I ask one more?
For 30 seconds.
All right, quick. Yeah. So just want to understand, so FIFA, for example, do they have programs that you can leverage as a company, or ride on as a company to fund some of your, maybe research?
Definitely.
Yeah. So can you talk a bit more about
Okay,
that?
so one of the things we're going to be doing from next year is to try to get into one of the accredited FIFA programs, like the FIFA Innovation Program. And one of the good things that has happened is with the partnership with the NPFL Youth League, that supports our cause, because now one of the things that FIFA asks for is a member association to back your cause. And now the NPFL Youth League, thankful, has backed our cause to be able to, proceed to the next level. So yes, FIFA does have those opportunities for, innovation, because FIFA cannot do it alone. So, yes, we're looking at, getting into FIFA Innovation and so many other sports-based programs that would validate our model.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please let's put our hands together for Sports Real.
Thank you.
Up next, we're going to have Fudelo. Thank you. Eunice of Fudelo. She in the room? Or virtual? Can we have the video come up?
Genius. Good morning. My name is Eunice. I'm the CEO of the food delivery platform that helps to deliver food and groceries. Good morning. My name is Eunice Awuyemi. I'm the CEO and founder of Fudelo, an online food delivery platform that helps to deliver food and groceries from local vendors to their customers' doorstep at ease. Fudelo was founded in November 2021 and launched officially in December 2022. Looking at the problem that, many Nigerians and many people face with food delivery is that food delivery is expensive. It is inconvenient, right? Local vendors, have to speak in with them, confirm that they struggle to reach new customers without huge marketing. Customer definitely wants convenience and affordability. Let's use busy professionals as an example. A doctor who has been out all morning, all day to the hospital to save lives, right? Then after a long day of work, having to go home, even going through traffic, and getting home, our children are already waiting for her tired, and they were like, "Hey, mom, what's for dinner?" And at that point, she didn't even know what to do. She was already exhausted, and the exhaustion has collided with the responsibility as a mother. She really wants to perform a duty as a mother, but at that point, she has nothing else to offer. Or even look at a student who has been in school all day, probably working on projects or attending classes, and getting home tired to cook and very, very exhausted already. Or young professional who has been at work all day, having to go through traffic and getting on, realizing that there's nothing else to his at home. This is why Fudelo has been invented to provide solution, to provide a platform that makes food ordering easy, food and grocery ordering easy and cheaper. Not only that, we have a dedicated fragmented option. It is easily accessible on Android, iOS, and web. And we have our planned AI that would help with suggestion, smart recommendation, and even make ordering very seamless. So looking at our previous example, right, at that point, the doctor can easily use Fudelo to order food without stress. Likewise, the students and the young professional, or even during the weekend, that same doctor who's supposed to be at home after a long day, maybe she doesn't work weekend, and then that is the time she needs to spend with her children, right? And even relax. Does she have to go to grocery stores to start shopping? She can use the Fudelo to accomplish all this. This is what the product demo looks like. We have the home screen, the restaurant screen, and the checkout. We also have amazing feature. It is very seamless. Gift a meal or group order. Our attraction currently, we have over 350 vendors, over 400 monthly active users. Our annual recurring revenue is summing up to 40,000, and our 10,000 plus registered users. Our market opportunity, the total population is 230 million, and the total addressable market is 107 million, while the serviceable addressable market is 75 million. And we are targeting the mobile first market, growing middle class, and we're also looking to expand into other cities where we don't currently operate. How do we make money? We make money by taking commission per order from our vendors and service charge per order from our customers. What are our competitive edge, right? Fudelo has personalized groceries and meals. This is where Fudelo offers monthly subscription for groceries and meals, giving customer convenience and consistency. This also drives steady recurring revenue for the business. We also partnered with corporate offices, small businesses, to provide their employees personalized meals down to groceries plan. This boosts convenience and also improves workspace satisfaction. Our AI order assist as well, to help customer place order, by simply speaking or even ordering, makes ordering faster, seamless, and more habit forming. This way, Fudelo is not just a logistic, it's not just logistic for food. It has been placed as an intelligent food companion. Our growth strategy is, partnership with corporate offices, as I've said earlier, network influencers, and other partnership that would help us grow. We're looking to expand beyond Abeokuta and Lagos, where we currently operate, Ijebu, Ibadan, Abuja, and our artificial intelligence AI roadmap for seamless ordering. This is what the management team looks like. Eunice, with several years of experience in product management and financial services, I've been privileged to work, with reputable companies like West Fargo and Capital One. Dolapo with 8 years of experience in software engineering, and Omatayo with over 6 years of experience with marketing and growth. We're asking for $2 million, allocating 25% of it to marketing, 25% to expansion, 25% to tech, operation 15%, and hiring 10%. And this is what the spending, the 2 million naira will be spent over 2 years. This is how we're going to be spending it over 2 years. Thank you very much.
Hello, Eunice. Do we have you?
Yes, you definitely do have me. How you doing?
Please, can we unmute her microphone?
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can hear you.
Over to you, judges.
Thank you, Eunice, for the presentation. So I have a question around how you vet your your vendors, right? And then the logistics partners that you currently use and how you are making the operation seamless, right? Because if I order food, I want my food to come in quickly. I want to be sure that I'm not getting food poisoning or something like that. How are you handling and ensuring that it's safe? And then even the logistic partners that you're using, how are you vetting them?
Okay, so first, thank you for the question. Yeah, so for the logistic, I'll pick it up from there. We do have like the riders app where like the freelancers tend to like register on the app to take orders. And before we can approve them, right, we do have like verifications company that do vet them before they're being approved on the app. And down to the vendors, right? Many times before we onboard vendors, even after they're like applied, we have like group of nutritionists who visit them sometimes, to see, the level of hygiene, definitely to vet the restaurants where they make this food. And in places where they cook from home, where we can't, access the restaurant, we do require like some pictures, videos of the environments where they do their cooking, just to see how, that is before we can, practically approve them on the app.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So thank you. What I really want to understand is how you're thinking about the competitive landscape. So in Lagos and Abuja and many other states, you have Chowdeck and Glovo. And Fudelo seems like it's very similar to these other startups. But I'd like to understand how you're thinking about scaling with these other people who kind of seem like very popular alternatives.
Okay, yeah, thank you for the question, right? So yeah, like you said, yeah, we have like, large competitors, but then, the kind of services that we are adding to what we do apart from just delivery is one thing that, we're using to standard. Our service, like she also mentioned, I know everybody would say like fast delivery and all. Yeah, but then, our major concern is making sure that the food is delivered, at the proper time, in good condition as well. I mentioned earlier that we are also partnering with like corporate offices. So we're not just into like, individuals like customers. We're also like partnering with different corporate offices to, be able to deliver lunch to their workers during their lunch period. We are also like, we also added like the local market subscriptions. Majority of our competitors are not looking towards the side where we make it easier for like, customers, like, household to shop their groceries and even down to local markets, based on subscription, just to make, their life very much easier. And like you said as well, our platform is very much seamless compared to any other platform for both customers and vendors. And we have, confirmed this by getting feedback from our customers and current vendors as well.
Thank you very Thank you very much. I think that'll
Thank
be
you.
for Fudelo. Please, let's put our hands together. Up next, we have Van Inc. We're going to have Ayokumi's video come up, and then we'll have questions for her. Vant Inc.
Akolade Ayomiku is my name, co-founder and CEO at Vant. Millions of businesses across Africa struggle with access to credit when they need it the most. In addition, a lot of them are limited to their location and region with no access to the global market. Furthermore, many of them are unable to scale because they lack data and insight into their business performance. This is the problem we solve at Vant. Through our all-in-one platform, businesses are able to access credit when they need it due to their business transactions, which we track, credit score check, as well as other things that have been put in place. Furthermore, businesses are able to access global markets through our no-code e-commerce storefront. Businesses with just a click are able to upload products, make sales, receive payment from across the globe. Furthermore, our automated bookkeeping makes record keeping seamless for businesses, and so they do not need to juggle multiple apps. This means that on one singular platform, businesses have all what they need to ensure scale. Currently, the SME financing gap across Africa is about $331 billion. This means that this is a huge market. We make money through transaction charges, subscription fees, as well as interest rates on loans. In the last few months, we've been able to process over 540 million transactions. We currently have over 300 businesses onboarded. We've been able to seal partnership with more than 15 partners, inclusive of the Credit Registry, the Wema Bank, InterSwitch, and a host of them. Currently, we have over 125 monthly active businesses who use our platforms. Also, quite a number of businesses are now subscribed and are actively using our platform as their main source of payments across borders. Our competitors are the likes of Prosper, MoneyPoint, and Keeper. However, our unique advantage is the fact that we are an all-in-one platform. We combine banking, bookkeeping, invoicing, credit, and storefronts all in a single app. So loans are given out in real time using transaction data and not just collateral. Also, the automation of our bookkeeping aids forecasting and cash flow analytics for our businesses. Meet our team. I am Hayo, the operations person. We have Raphael, our CTO, who is a software engineer with expertise in fintech and SaaS development, passionate about developing apps that are user-friendly. We have the CEO as well, Paul, who is a two-time founder with expertise in business over 8 years in business operations, finance, and technology. This makes us the ideal team. We are asking for $100,000, which is going to help us in scaling our operations and improving our technology to ensure that this experience is seamless for the business. We'll also be using this to aid our compliance and further partnerships to access more SMEs across the globe. But also, our marketing and sales will also be taken care of with these funds. We really do hope that you will join us to power the growth of African businesses. Thank you.
Please, let's put our hands together for Ayomiku of Vant Inc. Do we have questions for Ayomiku?
Yeah, I do.
Ayomiku, can you say hello so that we know that you're...
Hi, good afternoon. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hear you clearly?
No.
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you for the presentation, Ayo. So around if I hear you correctly, right, you give out loans to the businesses that you support, right? So what credit algorithm do you use to measure that? How are you seeing? Because I know one thing that is very consistent or like that goes in tandem with SMEs is non-performing loans, right? So how are you able to manage that? And how has it been tracking so far?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. So to start with, we actually operate an embedded finance tool.
Please,
can you hear me?
Ayomiku, can you hold on? We can't hear you yet.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Awesome. So I was saying that we run an embedded financing. So this means that the funds are not coming directly from us. We have partners, who take care of it. Our home part is that we have the businesses onboarded. We have access to their transactions, their inflow, their outflow, and of course, we do their credit score check before we then transfer them to our partners who take care of the risk and all.
Okay, so you don't bear any of the risks at all.
Thank you.
All right. Hi. So can we talk a bit more about like your accounting solution? You mentioned that the platform automates the accounting for the businesses. But at least as much as I know, I'm happy to be corrected. AI is still not 100% accurate. It's still not, it's not even 95% accurate as much as I know in terms of like cataloging transactions correctly. So errors can happen, right? How do you solve for that? Because if a business thinks, oh, this thing is taking care of everything for me, there's a tendency they don't check. So how do you address that so that businesses are not misrecording their transactions as, yeah.
You're right. Thank you for that question. So first of all, one of our strengths at Vant is our technical team. And so a lot of system has been put in place that pulls business data. For instance, our global e-commerce storefront, when customers upload products and make sales, their sales are auto-recorded. At the point of inserting their products, they are able to put in the cost of the product. And this means that as soon as they make a sale, the profit is recorded, the margin is captured, the data of the customer is captured. So that way, they are able to measure, okay, this is what I've made. And at the end of the day, there is a breakdown of their sales report, daily, weekly, monthly, and all of this gives them insights. Also, a lot of businesses we've observed, many businesses want to get grants and all. And when it's time to come out with their books, it's messed up. And so from our platform, they already have a clear graphical show of the performance of their business per time. So it's not, I don't know if I've answered your question.
Yeah, you do. So do you, when it comes to getting back the money that they've borrowed, I know you say you have partners, but do you support in collection or the partners take care of collection? Okay.
Yes, we do, because the payments are refunded through auto debit of their same business account that they have with us.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vant Inc. Please, let's put our hands together once again for Vant. Up next, we're going to have, can we have the QR code shared on the screen one more time so that those who haven't had the opportunity to scan can do that and indicate interest in the ventures that they would like to speak to after today? Is that up? Okay. Next, we're going to have a video recording of Keza of LifeLink. LifeLink saves lives by connecting hospitals and blood banks in real time for faster traceable delivery of vital medical supplies. Can we have the recording come up now? LifeLink. Sound.
Hello everyone, my name is Keza Ozadba, the co-founder and CEO of LifeLink. In Rwanda, emergency blood requests take up from 45 to 90% to process by either phone or paper. And the result, 45% of maternal deaths here are linked for certain hemorrhage where blood isn't.
Please, can we have the volume up?
Hello everyone, my name is Keza Ozadba, the co-founder and CEO of Take Up. Hello everyone, my name is Keza Ozadba, the co-founder and CEO of LifeLink. In Rwanda, emergency blood requests take up from 45 to 90% to process by either phone or paper. And the result, 45% of maternal deaths here are linked to postpartum hemorrhage where blood isn't available on time. This is the system we're trying to fix. LifeLink is a digital platform that connects hospitals, blood banks, and suppliers to first create urgent requests, see live routing and stock availability, and also to verify every handoff with digital chain of custody. With LifeLink, hospitals gain visibility, speed, and safety in every urgent supply transfer. You might wonder how this works. A clinician requests blood. LifeLink Smart matches the request to available stock and automates approval. Once dispatched, the delivery is trust live until it reaches the hospital where handoff is verified. Our financial model is straightforward. Facilities pay an average monthly fee of $850 plus a small per order transaction fee. In the first 12 months, we are targeting over 1,000 verified deliveries with gross margin at scale above 60%. The need is absolutely massive. Globally, 1.2 billion women and children live with anemia, heightening risk in childbirth. 80% of maternal deaths in the sub-Saharan Africa occur from hemorrhage. But especially here in Rwanda, 45% of the maternal deaths are caused by delayed or missing blood supplies. Our business model is also easy. First, we have the SaaS subscription fees for facilities, where these are software for a service subscription fees. Secondly, per order fees for verified urgent deliveries. Third, enterprise rollouts with government and partners. This blended model will give us recurring revenue while scaling usage, also creating a clear path to $15 million plus ARR in East Africa. You might wonder, why now? First of all, the governments are mandating digital reporting and national supply chain integration. Secondly, the technology gap has closed. Hospitals and suppliers now have the devices and connectivity that make mobile-first coordination feasible. And third, the wage is unique. We specialize in urgent, life-saving workflows. To achieve this, we are raising $100,000. This will fund 12 months of runway supporting product finalization and pilots, regulatory and partnership works, customer acquisition, training and community support, also core operations. Lastly, our team, Keza Ozadba, a strategic leader driving digital innovation for accessible healthcare, with my co-founder, Tabonga Matikiti, is also a healthcare innovator specializing in mobile-first infrastructure for emergency response. Together, we're also supported by expert advisors with deep healthcare and operational expertise. Together, we're building a system where every critical supply is visible, verified, and on time, so that no mother loses her life waiting. Thank you.
Please, let's put our hands together for LifeLink. Can we unmute Keza's microphone?
Hello.
Okay. We can go ahead, judges. Can you hear us?
Hello. My name is Tong. I'll be stepping in for Rosalba as a replacement.
Okay. Hi, Tabonga. I'm really interested in learning about the unit economics here. I understand like the revenue model, but what is the cost per pint of blood and like the logistics of moving it from one point to another?
Okay, so we recently found out that blood within certain countries is not really sold. And then we realized instead of selling the blood, we would partner with these biomedical centers that would allow us to distribute blood. So our business model has shifted from using selling blood, but rather than our partnering with these biomedical centers, allowing us, therefore, meaning that we will be charging a fee for distributing the blood. And then these centers will also have a contract with the government partners so that we will be able to leverage that, because selling blood is not legal.
Yeah, so selling blood is not legal in a lot of places, right? But sometimes there's kind of like there's a fee. Some cases like a donation fee, I don't know, there's a way that they coin it, but sometimes you have to exchange value for that blood.
Yes, there's a way that it happens, but as we were doing our research, we realized that in Rwanda, the government will pay for all of these fees that are required by the Rwanda Biomedical Center, because it's a board which is managed by the Ministry of Health within Rwanda.
Thank you very much, Lifelink. We'll now be moving on to the next venture. Olakteju Wanganga of OWA by Plotus Page. OWA by Plotus Page empowers market women with easy bookkeeping tools that help them track profits and access credit. Please put your hands together as OWA comes on stage.
Hello, everyone. My name is Oyinda Mola, and I'm the co-founder of Plotus Page. And I'm here to talk about OWA. What does true financial inclusion mean? What does true financial inclusion mean if the women that power 70% of the informal sector are still invincible to the system? The founder watched her mom struggle while she was still in the market to keep her business together. There were missing records, sales records here and there. She always had to guess what stock she had in her store. She couldn't get access to formal credit. And this eventually led to her closing or shutting down the business entirely and moving back to the house to just start a small business just in front of the house. During her time with the Nestle company, working as a sales agent, she also saw this same thing happen to a number of other women right there in the market. Now, the problems that these women face is that they have limited access to formal credits. They have poor financial literacy. Because they don't keep records, banks consider them, not just banks, financial institutions, consider them unbankable. Yet these women account for 80% of, they account for 80% of the informal sector in Nigeria. And this is why we are built OWA. The next slide, please. What OWA does is to help them track their daily business activities using a physical and digital tool. It also gives them a weekly report of their business activities every week. They receive their SMS reports every week. OWA also helps them access structured capital. It also helps them, gives them access to CSC registrations and POS terminals. Next slide, please. So to just give details about the products, at the point of onboarding a market woman, we give them these two booklets. So this smaller one is the business owner's booklet, where they just fill in their expenses, their purchases, creditors and debtors, that's all. Then the agent is the one that handles this. This is where they record their inventory and their cash flow. So we have agents in the market that lead this. And like we like to call it, we like to say that OWA is a phygital product, right? There's a physical part where the women have to use the booklets as well as the agents. And then there's the digital part where the agents and then the team manage these records on a database. Next slide, please. So for our business model, we currently charge between 5,000 to 20,000 from these women. The charge is currently based on their inventory size, the number of shops they have, and all that. We also earn money through institutions that would like us to conduct research on their behalf. And we charge between 1 million to 20 million, depending on their demand. We also earn commissions from the number of POS deployed, the number of CAC facilitated, and also loans that have been disbursed. Next slide, please. So for our market opportunity, the market is quite large. And we're looking at, for our serviceable, obtainable market, we're looking at capturing 0.01% of the market, which would give us an annual recurring income of 750 million naira. Next slide, please. So for traction, we currently have more than 100 women. On our portfolio. We've been able to partner with some fintech companies to deploy 60 POS in the market. We've been able to get 85 women registered for CAC. We've also been able to, we're currently working, we're in talks with a business school in Lagos to help them facilitate a research project. Next slide, please. Yeah, so our competitive advantage, right? So one of the things that makes us stand out is the fact that we are using an agent-led approach. So we're taking off the pressure of the market women doing all of the records by themselves. So we have agents that assist them with that. And another advantage is the fact that we're combining bookkeeping and embedded research services. No other product does this. And then the offline compatibility. The market women don't have to be stressed over the fact that they have to use their mobile phones before they can have their records intact. It is totally offline for the market women. Another competitive advantage is giving them access to structured loans through our partners. Next slide, please. Yeah, so for our financial projection, in the first year, we're looking at gaining 3,000 users. And if we're charging 5,000 naira on an average for each market woman, it will give us a yearly income of $120,000. Up to year 4, if we're able to get 15,000 users, that would amount to $600,000 in a year by year 4. Next slide, please. So we're asking for 100,000 safe investment to scale operations to 30 new markets. We want to also be able to recruit and train 150 agents across this market, build our research data portal, as well as our agent mobile app to make it easier to collate these results and also to be able to print 3,000 over booklets for these women. Next slide. So this is our team. Olapeju, the founder, Adebukola, the field operation manager, Timileyin, our bookkeeper, Afid, our intern, and Emmanuel Eze, our full stack engineer. Thank you.
Let's put our hands together for our questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that presentation. I have two questions, right? But one, I just want to understand the thinking behind going the agent approach. Why do you think that's important way to go? Because like most of the similar businesses that I have looked at, most of them are just doing going completely digital. So what's the intent for going the agent approach? And then how do you deal with inconsistencies, right? In managing these booklets, right? How are you able to, because for instance, not to say that all the people that sell in the market are not literate, but like there might just be some inconsistencies in terms of how they are recording this data, and how does that now affect the end result that you are pulling out, if you get what I mean.
Okay, thank you for your question. So please can you repeat the first question?
So the first question was around what's your intent for going the agent approach? Because most of the businesses I have seen along this, they are just fully digital. So why are you going this agent handbook?
Okay, thank you very much. So we decided to use the agent-led approach because a number of these women find it stressful to sit down by themselves and start writing these records down. And also, they are a bit averse to digital tools from our research. They're a bit averse to digital tools. When you tell them, okay, you have to download this app, you have to sign up, they're already stressed. So we decided to just eradicate that stress of having them use their mobile phones, or maybe even having to employ someone to help them use maybe the website. So that was why we decided to use the agent-led approach. And even with them having to input records is minimal. It's just their expenses, their creditors, debtors, just what they are used to already. So we're taking off the burden of doing the real work for them using the agent-led approach. Then for inconsistencies, we have bookkeepers on the back end that still go through these records after the agents are done with them every week. So once an agent visits a market room and takes record of the inventory and the cash flow, we use Google Sheets for now. So they upload those records on the Google Sheets where the bookkeeper also has access. And then he goes through it, checks for any inconsistencies. If there are any discrepancies, he communicates to the market woman through the agents. If it is something really urgent, we communicate to the market woman directly.
All right, thank you. So, sometimes, or one of the biggest concerns with agent-led approach is that you need to scale the agents to scale your access to be able to serve as more, like to be able to serve more merchants, right? But that would then increase cost and things like that. So right now, maybe you can talk about your cost structure. How do you compensate the agents, and how does that affect what you then generate as revenue and what stays as profit for you?
All right, so currently the agents earn commissions from onboarding a market woman, for example. They earn commissions from the number of POS they're able to facilitate. They also earn commissions from the number of CAC registrations they're able to facilitate. So we have like a base, a fixed amount that we give them, but for it to increase or to earn more, they have to actually put in the work.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I missed your revenue model or business model. So how do you make money? So you have the POS. The POS is digital, right? Like this is for them to receive payments, digital payments. So even though they have this book, they still receive digital payments and they have to record in the book, right? So the agents only make money when the merchants use the POS. Okay, because that's how you make money.
Yeah, so it's not just that. We make money also from institutions that want us to conduct research for them. And we also earn money from the monthly subscription that we charge the market women.
And with the subscriptions, how has that been received? Because typically they don't seem keen on things like that.
Yes, so at first, yes, it was a challenge, but over time, they've been able to see the value of what bookkeeping can do for them. And the fact that they can access formal credit, that has been a very huge motivation for them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, Owa. Please, let's put our hands together for Owa. And thank you to our judges. You guys have done amazing so far. Yeah, so that's the last pitch. Thank you very much. Please, you can go back to your seat. Please, let's put our hands together for our judges. They asked brilliant questions, engaged our founders as they pitched. And thank you to everyone who has sat through the event today. It's been an incredible day. I'm sure you'll agree. That's been incredible. We've just witnessed 13 remarkable visionaries, builders, risk takers, who didn't just pitch businesses, but you all shared courage, creativity, and conviction. Each of you have shown grit, brilliance, and unstoppable power of belief. So please put your hands together for yourself. You've gone through the program. You started in July. We're now here in October, and you've, come to the demo day to present all that, put together all that you've learned, the journey that you've gone through. Trust me, entrepreneurship is not an easy journey, and I know you can all see that, right? So please put your hands together for yourself once more. And to our investors, partners, and ecosystem players who have participated from morning up until now, we say thank you so much for leaning in, for seeing potentials and not just, numbers, but for also being a part of a movement that says when women rise, communities thrive, and economies transform. Please put your hands together for yourself, our investors and ecosystem players. And so today's panel sort of reminds us that boldness, it's consistent, right? It's not just you have to show up and always show up. And in showing up, the odds are uneven, and it's creating pathways where there used to be walls. We don't see those walls anymore because we're showing up consistently every day. And so as we wrap up today's SheScales Africa Demo Day and Investor Forum, the very first, put together by Opolo Global Innovation in partnership with Ventures Platform and Fintech NGR. I'd say that let's carry this energy forward by building, funding, mentoring, and amplifying women-led innovation across Africa. Because the future isn't waiting, the future is now, and she's scaling. We're all scaling together. I would like to invite Joba to give the closing remarks as we wrap up today's event. And before I drop the microphone, I'll say thank you all for being a part of this incredible journey. My name remains Wane. It's been my absolute pleasure serving as your guide today. And so please keep being the best that you are already, keep connecting, and the sky is only just the starting point. Thank you.
Wow, this has been a very long day, I'm sure, for every single one of us. But yeah, I think I'm happy. I'm not sure if every other person is happy here, but I can see some smiles, and I'm happy. I'm really happy that it wasn't just any day, really. It's like I mentioned in the morning when I was giving the welcome address. It was a showcase of what the future looks like for Africa, right? What the future looks like for female founders within this part of the continent, of the world rather. And a quick advice I would just give all the founders, as you have, at this point in time, completed the program. Of course, we are releasing you now officially, right, into the market to start having conversations with venture capital firms, DFIs, angels. Many of you will still have to really speak with angels, really. And one thing I want you to take out, out of everything, which of course, it wasn't even in the curriculum, in the 6-week curriculum, is the concept of humility. That's what I want you to take out. Concept of humility, right? In whatever it is that you're doing, as you're having those conversations with investors, as you're having those conversations with, whoever it is that you may be having, you do not know who is who. It is important that you always approach conversations with humility. I mean, it makes a difference. Trust me. I've engaged founders, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds on founders. I mean, that's my job. That's what I do, right? And my point is, there's something that makes the mark or makes the difference. And one of those things is humility, right? You see some of the panelists that we had here today, right? Some of them are, I've heard some founders in the past tell me that, look, if I want to engage an investor, if he's not the partner, or if he's not the, what do you call them now? If he's not the partner, if he's not the investment manager, if he's not I'm not going to speak with them. I mean, but they don't understand that it's a funnel. And the people who would actually open the doors to the actual funding are the associates or even the analysts. Yeah, so these are people that you should be best of friends with, as a matter of fact. Try and see how you can, in your approach, be humble. You don't even know, sometimes you might not even know what exactly they're doing in the firm, but the point is, approach all your conversations going forward, right, with humility. And I wish you all the best. We are here to support you, right? We are here to support your growth. We are here to support, your fundraising efforts. And of course, I must bring you greetings from Isioma Udeozo, who's not here, and she's definitely wishing you all the best as well. And am I done? Okay. Okay, thank you. But yes, I'm really excited. I mean, it's been a very amazing 6 weeks with every one of you. I'm going to miss you guys. We will have calls again every week like we used to, of course, but we'll have check-ins where we just check in with you and see how it's going from time to time. So definitely let's keep in touch. And thank you to each and every one of our investors who are here in the room. Thank you to each and every one of our partners. I see Afrik Local here. That's Abidemi from Afrik Local. Yeah, the guys from the ladies and the guys from Ventures Platform, right? Thank you so much, Shola. Thank you so much, Esther. Mercy, rather. Thank you so much, Mercy. Thank you, of course, Samuel. Thank you to each and every single one of you. And of course, to our very dear compare for today, who has done a very amazing job with really holding the whole fort. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. And to the online audience as well. Yes. Oh, yes. I got to hear that one of the mentors has joined the session since 9 a.m. That's Ife Ogundowole. She's been online since 9 a.m. Listening to each and every one of these sessions. Ife, I don't know if you could just, unmute yourself, to just say maybe one word, hello to everyone,
Hi, Joba. Thank you very much.
Can we spotlight her? Yes, Ife, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thanks. It's been very interesting day, and I'm happy
That's
that
Ife
it's
there.
gone well for everyone.
We can't hear her. Media team, we can't hear Ife. Okay. Can she speak now? Okay, yes. Okay, it's fine, no problem. Thank you so much, Ife, for joining. Thank you for all the support that you've given to all the founders. I'm sure they're very grateful. These are people that you guys should hold on to very tight, right? So yes, thank you everyone, and I wish you all an amazing rest of week. Enjoy the rest of the program. There's stuff to happen on the exhibition floor, but after now we take pictures, right? With founders, with the panelists, and of course every other person who's interested as well. Thank you everyone, and God bless everyone else.
Okay, picture time. Everyone come forward for a picture.
From then, after I start from the rest of the operation, thank you.